Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? My name's Spencer, and welcome to Best Ball Draft Addicts. Tonight, I am doing my 68th draft of the Dinger in my journey to max fill it with 150. And I'm going to be joined by Brad. And me and Brad, we had some technical difficulties a minute ago with the audio. We're going to see if this works when we get Brad back in here. So let's go ahead and check it out. Brad, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Right, we can. We have success.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right, man. Good to see you. I,
Good to
you
see
know
you.
what? We got it on time. That's all that matters.
It's always a last minute thing for me in technology. So,
So Brad and I, we met each other doing the Stacking Dingers episode with the high volume drafters, and I've been wanting to get Brad on here and draft with you since then because I really enjoyed talking to you there and hearing the way that you think about stacks and building lineups. And yeah, man, I'm just real excited about this tonight.
yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it was fun meeting you on the show the other day and then seeing you in the lobbies. And I joined a couple of your shows already. So, I'm looking forward to drafting here with you live.
Heck
So,
yeah, man. So which number is this for you? Which dinger number?
this would be number, I think, 33.
33. All right,
Yeah.
nice.
So,
So let me ask you. I like to kind of know this. Are you just a fast drafter? Or do you mix slows and fast? Like, how do you do it?
I only do fast drafts. I don't. I've tried slows, and I don't know something about even a 4 hour time clock. I just want to when I want to draft, I want to draft, and when I don't want to deal with it, I don't want to deal with it. So
Yep. No, that's how I am, man. I mean, I with Underdog particular, I mean, I'm just addicted to, I mean, the name of the thing. Like literally, I just love doing it. I think it's so much fun. And exactly, they last what, 45 minutes, and then if you want to do one, you do one. If you want to do another, you do another. But you're not having to worry about checking all the time. With that said, there's a lot of strategy to slow drafts, and you can build stacks different ways. But I see the positives to slow drafts for people that like it. But I'm glad to hear that you're like me and a fast drafter.
all the time, yeah.
Yep. So I'll tell you this tonight. I don't know if we want to go ahead and jump in and see where people are at. You know what? Let me just do that real quick. I'll see where we're at. Okay, we're at six more. Brad, you want to go ahead and jump in?
All right, I just jumped in.
All right, there we go. So, do you have anywhere in the draft particular that you prefer to pick from?
Oh, no. I mean, I was just so did you see on Twitter, I think it was Thursday, maybe Friday, I reposted this thing from a guy named Michael, that's using this thing called what is he called? The Exposure, I believe. MLB Exposure and Exposure, sorry. And anyways, I realized I'd never drafted from second or third in any of my dingers yet. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So I wouldn't mind getting those right now.
So, I absolutely saw that. And that site is incredible. Um, before we get the draft in here, yeah, check it out. This, I absolutely love this. Here, let's go to the dinger. So here, look at my dinger here. Look at how many pick ones I've got.
Wow, you're an influencer.
Isn't that crazy? I can't believe, like, honestly, I can't believe how many pick one, twos, and threes that I've got. I've gotten 10 very little, two times. So anyway, that's just crazy. But I absolutely love this site. And yeah, anyone who wants to check that out, it's free. Man, I can't believe it's free. The amount of work that has gone into that, like, wow.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I'm up with I don't know how many number one picks that was for you, but number one I think is my highest that I've hit so far on pick wise, which is nice in a way. But I wouldn't mind getting some twos and threes out there. It just seems like 30
Right.
drafts is a lot. I'm really back heavy right now, honestly. 10, 11, 12 is where I've picked most of the dinger. It feels like so.
I'm getting the board pulled up for us here.
Uh,
So
I went.
I see we got Dark Sheep in this draft with us. I got pick 6. Brad, you got pick 11. We got a couple other of our buddies in here. Denver Dog. I was inverted. Who else we got in here? Maz Skills. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, I recognize. Yeah, I was inverted in there. I think Jordan, a handful of people. But there I am at the end again. You know, so we'll see what I end up doing this time. I haven't drafted since probably yesterday during the morning. I'm kind of trying to pace myself and back stack it a little bit. I think a lot of people are doing that. But it seems like a lot of people are already over 50 by now. Where are you at again?
I am, this is number 68.
Oh,
So
wow.
I started really hot. Like I did 10 on the first day because I wanted to kind of build a base.
Mhm.
And then I decided to go ahead and get this going. And I knew I was going to slow down and try to spread it out. But where I'm at now, I'm trying to shoot for like 2 a day. We are 40, I want to say like 42 days away from the start of the regular season. And assuming that this dinger lasts that long, I think two a day will have me right at a good pace to finish there. And some
Yeah,
days I could not do one and do three on another. But that's where I'm at. So
yeah,
while I was getting things going, it's your pick now. By the way, you grabbed Jose Ramirez.
yeah. I got my little thing pulled up on the side, and I don't think I've taken Jose yet, so that's why I did it.
So, dude, I'm right there with you. Let's go pull up ADP board. Gosh, I love this thing. The dinger, Jose, yeah, 3%. So I think I've taken that's probably 2 times for me.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. I'm
So
almost
not
always
very
trying to get
often.
an outfielder. So outfielders seem to be the way
Same
to go
here.
as you see
Same
the
here.
orange on the board.
Now, I actually got autoed Kyle Schwarber because I was getting everything going, but that's all right because that's what I would have done with that pick anyway. So
I'd say if you are going to get audited on a pick, it's probably best it be the first one because it's
you
generally in
you are
line.
absolutely right, especially number 6 where no matter what you're going to get a good player.
Oh,
All right. So we are cooking. Coming back to me. So let's see what we got here. Sheep went with Kyle Tucker and Vlad. The Dodgers and the Blue Jays are two of my higher drafted stacks, and I'm glad seeing that once I was looking at the exposures. So I'm going to do something again. I'm going to actually kind of follow along with this as well. I only have 6.2% of Nick Kurtz. I looks like I take Scooble 13.8% of the time here. So we're going to mix it up with Nick Kurtz and go with some major power with Kurtz and Schwarber.
yeah, that gives you some power there.
So how do you feel about stacking? Let's just talk about that in general. Is that something that you do like for teams? Do you stack all the time? Do you just do it whenever it works? Is it something that you actively focus on? Like, just what's your general thoughts?
I think probably from I've been doing this, I feel like since it started, I don't know. But just all of my dailies that I do, and then you coincide it with doing basketball for many years. I think stacking is just like part of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I'm necessarily like, oh, I have to stack or I have to get, I see TDK, 90 cent Schwarber, Harper Turner. I'm sure I have some of those, but every time I get the Phillies, I'm not thinking about it. It's kind of if it falls and it makes sense, I do it. Probably the most stacks I do is generally like the late round guys.
Mm-hmm.
I like to tack on, you know, um, Miguel Vargas, or I guess St. Louis isn't a good thing because you're grabbing them at the end, but maybe now I'm grabbing Brendan Donovan when I have some Seattle guys late, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. That's typically where I get. I was looking at my exposure thing, and it said, so is it exposure or it's exposure, isn't it? I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it is. It's exposure. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at it, and it's like um, basically it also has that thing. I think it's your portfolio, and it kind of talks about your stacks. And I don't do a whole lot of four batter stacks, so I think the max I typically go is three, and if I'm going four, it's not very often.
And like you said, normally it's probably like one guy early, then you're not really thinking about it, and then as the draft moves along, you look, okay, so I had this guy earlier, let's throw this piece on, and then now let's toss in this guy at the end, because so you get Julio, then you wait, maybe you get Josh Naylor, then you wait, maybe you get Brendan Donovan, and then there's your three-person stack. That's just sort of how they fall for you.
That's typically how it works for me. The other thing I'm trying to get my brain to do this year, because I do that so often, is like I think the last couple I've posted to Twitter, I'm trying not to stack it all really, because when you do that, you also all your Brendan Donovans are with Julio Rodriguez or Randy
Hmm.
Arozarena, and you don't have a single one, by himself. And I think he can be a viable player.
Hmm.
Maybe somebody that's a little bit more risky, like Dominic Canzone or something. I may not, I may want to always have him only stacked, just
Mm.
because I don't know. I don't feel like he's probably a one-off piece I want.
That's a really, really great point. So even though I haven't actually said that, like my brain has thought that exactly what you just said, that it's good to unstack, have teams where you're unstacked, where you're just taking good players or guys that you think will have good seasons, like Donovan. But someone who you're wishy washy on, like Canzone, you make that exclusively as part of a stack. I think that's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, and
Um,
here I'm going to take Caminero because it looks like he just fell to me at 38, and I still like
that's
him even though they're back in the field.
that's a really good fall. Um, what's your can I love being able to just quickly look. The best way for this is this ADP board where I can just quickly look where we're at in the rounds and see what my exposure percent is. That's so cool. Mine's 6% of Caminero. What were you at?
Let's see. So this is like I haven't uploaded it in a couple days, but it was at 10%. Probably still, I'm guessing,
Okay.
hovering around there.
Yeah,
So
10%. That's a good number. I'd like to get up to that percent. Denver Dog says, what's the link for that site? If you go to Brad's Twitter at BRDMC3, I actually also reposted that myself. So, or on mine, we both posted that. And so that'll give you the link to the website.
does he have a Twitter? I can try to paste it,
That's
but I don't know.
actually that's a good question. I don't know. Denver Dog, I'm assuming you have Twitter. I was saying that with that under that assumption.
I think you're up. I think, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go with one of my more no, I'm gonna go away. I was gonna go with a more popular pick of mine with Springer. Springer I've got at, let's see here. It's a lot. I'm very healthy on Springer. Springer 24%
Okay.
and Ian Happ not that much. Let's see, where's Ian Happ at? Ian Happ 14%. So 14% still is pretty good. Like I'm not afraid to draft Ian Happ, but I should bring that closer together. As much as I like Springer, I mean, let's be honest. After just because of last season, that's the only reason why Springer's going higher than him anyway. I mean, before that, we would have gone Happ for a while.
Oh yeah. You know, I Ian Happ. I mean, I don't have any Springer. I drafted a lot of them in the bot. I was just looking. I only have 3% right now on the Dinger. I find that so interesting just to look. It's like, sorry, but Paul Skeen 0%, Garrett Crochet 0%, Matt Olson 0%. There's just certain guys. Christian Yelich I haven't drafted. Yamamoto. It's a lot of pitchers, obviously.
Right.
Um, but no, Ian Happ. I mean, who's that? Stellan Slater talking about him being gross. I think he's boring for sure, but he's so consistent. If you look at his numbers for the last 4 years, it's like he's penciled in for 1,200. It seems like, and he's probably the most boring person to do it. It feels
Right.
like to me.
I'm up. Back to me. Speaking of boring, let's go with
Did
because
Jason
he is.
hire you? Is that why we're
I'm
talking
going
about
with
boring?
Manny Machado. Manny Machado. So I mean, Manny Machado is. I mean, to me, he's boring just because I picked him so many times over the years and he's been around for so long. But he's just so consistently good.
Oh yeah, yes. One other thing I found out when I looked at my exposures, because I try not to check my exposures all the time because I just want to balance it out over time, and that's just kind of the way I draft, anyways. Um, but when I got on, I realized I had my number one owned player 20 or 30 drafts through is Lawrence Butler, and I don't know how I feel about that because
Wow,
I'm
yeah, that is funny though.
not
So I was
sure.
inverted, just took him, but I
I
get
just
you.
saw that.
I don't know how to feel about that either. I'm like, that's potentially really good.
Yeah, I just don't know. I guess I get a little bit worried that he ends up in some sort of a platoon, but I'm also like, are they really going to play? I can't even remember who the other dude is. I'm like, do they really want to play that guy?
I highly
Uh,
doubt he platoons. It's really to me just a matter of what will his production be? Will it be the level that we want or not? So yeah, what are you looking at here?
I don't know. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. Um, only Dark Sheep will probably understand why I'm doing this for later. And if he ruins it for me, I may be a little bit upset.
You heard that? You heard that, Dark Sheep? Don't ruin this for him. So I dropped the link, by the way, to that exposer tool in there. I was able to go copy it and just paste it in there. Um, and Slater says boring is the right word on Ian Happ, but he thinks there's different levels of boring. Yeah, for sure, there is. And then TDK says they will get tired of Clark's little bat. So Denzel Clark is the guy I think that you're talking about here, or that TDK threw in there. Um, I was impressed by Denzel Clark on the field last year, but not behind. You not batting.
I think
Yeah,
he's
like I
a
don't know.
quite the defender.
Yeah, he's a
But
pretty darn good center fielder, but yeah, I don't think that his bat's gonna be anything to write home about. He's definitely not anyone that I'm looking to take here, even in the last round of an A's stack.
oh yeah,
But with that said, whenever we do get down here to the bottom, do you very often like scroll down to some of these like really random guys for stacks, or do you stick to the same like level of people with stacks? You know what I mean? Like, is there every once in a while where you'd be like, oh, I would never pick this guy, but let's throw him in because I've already stacked this team so many times, and what if, how do you think about that?
I think there's levels of that, like just as anything. I mean, there's something to be said, in my opinion, of like I don't know who's going like 200 to 220 right now, but those guys are, maybe have the same risk as almost all the guys in 230s. So anybody that with at least an ADP, I guess I would say I've never taken Denzel Clark. I'm trying not to find guys that I feel like are bought into the 7, 8, 9 hole maybe. But people that are in the middle of the lineup or I think have some sort of potential, I try to take. So I mean, drafting. I'm trying to think of just some weird people I've drafted. It'll come to me here in a minute, but I know I was taking like Haesung Kim before he got injured back in the bunt. Like he was one of my favorite picks back then. But yeah,
So I will tell you why I'm asking the question. So with this exposer tool, I was looking whenever you're on that ADP board. I was looking through this a lot last night because I like you. I had got another tool which I talked about on the show
mm-hmm.
from another guy. But before that, I mean, I'd only ever looked at exposures only just based off of an Underdog where you look at your shares. And
Yeah,
even that I don't look at all the time. Like I just really like to draft and feel it. I kind of have an idea of how many times I've taken a guy or done a stack. But now that I'm kind of looking at the specifics of it, as I'm going down and looking, when you go down beneath round 20, I've noticed that I really don't go further than the first like round 21. And there's a bunch of names that goes like round 22 all the way down to 33 as far as people who have ADPs and have been drafted. So that's a whole lot of names of people that I would be very happy to draft on like draft champions, but I'm not ever even looking at here on Underdog, not even close. So I'm just wondering, how many times, if you're with me doing 150, should I go down and try to find some of those sneaky pieces later that I like for deeper leagues? Like, let me find an example real quick just to tell
wait.
you what I'm
Before you
talking
say
about.
that, should I be embarrassed that I have like I don't know, 3 or 4 people down there with percentages.
Well, no, because that's a good. I mean, honestly, I'm asking the question of should I be doing it? Because I'm looking at like, for instance, I've been wanting to draft some more Brewers teams. Okay,
Okay.
and Caleb Durbin is
Yeah, he's
super
viable.
low, and he's someone who I've not even once thought about on Underdog, right? But
Yeah.
I'm like, man, should I be looking at Caleb Durbin for some occasional brew? So that's just one example. It's just something that this tool has kind of got my mind going where I'm like, man, maybe I should open myself up to some super late hitters that I'm not looking at. I already know that I'm needing to increase my later pitching because I pretty much never take pitching down at the bottom. I'm always done with pitching by the end. I'm usually taking infield at the end. So as I'm moving along to my second 75 drafts, the second half of my dinger teams, I'm like, I need to start doing some things and open myself up. At least I think it's smart, as opposed to just saying, staying bullheaded on this is what I do every time, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like the guy you mentioned, Durbin, is more than somebody I can't see him on my lane right now, but I'm sure I've drafted him, and if I haven't, I definitely would. I have Francisco Alvarez because I like listened to I think it was the CBS pod um, one morning, and they were talking about his last I guess month or two, and I'm just a guy who drafts off what I hear. I feel like for the day. And so I
Mm-hmm.
probably did one draft that day, and that's why I
I
stacked him with the Mets.
I understand that. Like you listen to a pod, you get hyped on someone, you draft them that night, and then maybe
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. So I have that. I mean, I have Dustin May down there. I don't know. I saw I put on weight or something. I'm like, okay, Yanier Diaz. I mean, Vargas isn't even on the top row, and I have, people I have a lot of way down there is Vargas, Carlos Correa. I'm at like 25%.
Oh
Um,
wow, you really believe in Correa. That's
I
awesome. I like that a lot.
I just believe in the fact that he's going to play. He's still, pretty young. I think he's under 30, or if he's over 30, maybe like 31, 32. He's back in his home park for a full year. It plays well with righties, and he's going to be playing every day. I don't see, why he couldn't, produce at least 1,000 point season, if not, a top 150 type next year draft, like Trevor Story coming back kind of last year.
Gosh, I'm so glad that I asked you this question and we're talking about this because these are the exact things that I have been wondering, like and asking myself, I need to do this more. I'm at 3% of Carlos Correa and I'm at 4.6% of Miguel Vargas. Both of those guys, they are on my radar and I've clicked them, but I've not done it very often. And I this is again what I'm saying. I need to start drafting more of these guys. Now maybe you need to draft a little less of Correa.
Probably,
but
probably.
at the same time, I do really like that call. I just took Correa on my first DC team that I'm doing right now. And I like in that he has third base and shortstop eligibility, so it's even a little bit better. And I was able to get him for my corner.
I'm
Um,
also the guy that took Carter Jensen. I don't know what's wrong with me. I so yes, I guess I like clicking random names at the end,
you
is what
do,
I'll say. Yeah.
and I very much appreciate that. So thank you for that answer.
Yeah, I may have just helped you lose about $300 if you decide to join me because it doesn't show great success, but why not?
Hey, that's
So
all right. That's all right. What is it about here? It's about having fun, ain't it? We want to win
yeah.
some money, but we want to have fun while we're doing it.
Mm.
So I see TDK11 says scared of my Ryan O'Hearn percentage. So he's down there dipping in the Ryan O'Hearn bucket at the end. So I will tell you this, TK11, I believe I have not taken Ryan O'Hearn. I have not. Now that's one though that I can pretty much say I'm never looking at doing Pittsburgh stacks, but I've thought about it.
Yeah, I
Now,
was taking um, Ryan O'Hearn with Connor Griffin. Uh, and the bunt a lot. But then when Connor Griffin jumped up to like 150 or wherever he's at now, I just kind of quit touching the Pirates. I feel like. outside of Reynolds.
Yeah, and I've talked about Connor Griffin a lot, and I really, really want to draft Connor Griffin, but I've only actually clicked his name one time in the dinger. Um, Man, his price has just rose so high. And back in the bullpen, I did it more because you used to be able to get him, yeah, in the bullpen down towards the final 3 rounds.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
what's he round 11, 12? I mean, yeah, it's just such an increased price. It makes it hard for me. And I also never draft O'Neal Cruz. This Brian Reynolds on this team, that's someone I drafted earlier. And I rarely take Brian Reynolds. This is an interesting build that I'm doing that's pretty rare. I'm drafting a couple guys with low exposures here to kind of see how we can fill this. So I like your Sonny Gray pick there. Is he someone who you've liked in the past or just really kind of like him now with Boston?
You know, I draft a ton of him for some reason. Never in the past, but this year he's probably. I bet he's a top three pitcher for me in Dinger so far. Just somebody that I constantly click. His price just he kind of seems to be the one that hangs around there, and I just draft him.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like him.
And coming back to
So
you here,
yeah, I'm trying to make a decision if I want to jump like somebody like Yuri up or just be boring. Maybe I'll just be boring.
boring Yandy, boring but
Yeah,
consistent. I mean,
yeah.
that's the thing with him. I have going through it's just so funny. Last night I did a draft after looking at this tool because whenever I was looking at this tool, I realized I've taken zero Yandy. I had taken zero Yandy. And I drafted Yandy last night because Yandy is too good. See, my thing with Yandy is I immediately was turned off once I knew that they were going back to Tropicana because I'm like, oh, his power is going to go down. So that immediately kind of dipped him down in my mind. But the issue with that is that was whenever I was thinking primarily as a roto drafter. And as I've carried over into here, where I'm kind of focusing on upside and power, I've let that linger. But where Yandi's going, this is a perfect, like, he has such a great weekly floor because he is a really good hitter and he can still have a lot of doubles. I know that for a fact. And it's not like his power is going to be completely gone. He could still hit 15 to 20 homers. I mean, he's as strong as an ox for crying out loud.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, he hit 22 in 2023. I don't remember. I'm sure they were playing there.
yeah, they were. They were. So it's like he can do it. It's just a matter of me getting that in my mind more. Like I have been so focused for my own drafting of the dingers this year on getting guys that can have high impact power weeks. And that's great. I need to do that, but I've been trying to get myself, especially talking out on these streams, to mix in more of those steady picks like Yandy, like Stephen Kwan every once in a while. Because they can help be good glue pieces. In the past, I was more thinking, these glue pieces haven't worked for me. So why do I even need them? But I'm like, I still need to mix them in. Like they are not guys that I need to be fading
So you're
completely.
telling me you draft Luis Arias is what you just admitted.
I have not, but I'm saying that I'm open to it in my second 75.
I'm just joking with you.
And
I
I have
uh
not.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Stephen Kwan's hard for me. The rest of them, I kind of dabble a little bit. I see somebody mentioned Volpe. I have not touched him. And then Saints to death. He mentioned Nolan.
Shanuel.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Shanwell. And I was drafting him in the bunt. And then I just kind of, I love him as like a baseball player. But he kind of falls in that same realm of what we're talking about. Like,
He does.
just where I don't know if he's good for this format. I think he probably possesses a floor, but what upside does he have? He showed,
Mm-hmm.
some sneaky power occasionally last year, but nothing that I think he's going to be hitting, a lot of home runs. So I don't know. I also just tell stories for everybody I draft. So he hit 12 last year, though,
You know what?
rushing.
telling stories for the people we draft. That's why we do this, isn't it? Like playing these scenarios out in our mind. How does it work? And Shanuel, he's an interesting one because he came straight up, right? He didn't play in the minors. So that doesn't happen hardly ever. Like get drafted and come right to the majors. Like that's super rare. And so he's been on my radar ever since I saw him come up back. What was that,
Yeah,
at the end of 23, I think it was.
yeah,
And he has power. It's in his bat. Like he could, but much like Yandy, he can. It's not that these guys can't, but they're focused on trying to be good hitters and hitting line drives, and they don't have high launch angles, and they're not out there trying to hit homers. If either of those guys ever like sold out to hit homers, I think they could easily hit 25 to 30 because it's not that they don't have the power, it's just that's not what they're focusing on. Chandler Simpson, Xavier Edwards, they don't have the power that,
yeah.
they can't do that. So there is no, so at least with Shanuel or Yandy, you've got that. It's still like, hey, what if it just clicks in? And Shanuel is young enough that it could. Saints to Death also says willing to scroll down on pitchers more than hitters. And yeah, that's another thing I was saying. I've been needing to look at some of the scroll down pitchers and get them in my life. And then ESPI says, sounds crazy, but Winsell Perez played every day down the stretch. Max Clark could just wreck his playing time. Yeah, and Winsell Perez is another one of those late guys that's in the same vein of what we're talking about. Volpe out for the first month like Neto last year and should play every day. Comparing him to Neto is very interesting. I've not heard anyone do that. I haven't done that myself in my mind, like compared Volpe to Neto, but I can see some very similar things with how we were thinking about Neto last year at this time versus how we're thinking about Volpe. So I think that's a good call out. I like that.
The only difference with Volpe, first off, I can't get how much he is absolutely horrific at defense. Like I don't know if you've seen highlights on that guy, but it's freaking hilarious sometimes to watch him.
I
Because he's bad.
I honestly, that's never registered for me. I mean, I watch games all the time, but I've never once thought. I'm not a Yankees fan though, so I'm
Oh,
not
I'm not
like,
either.
but like I've never registered that. But that's interesting. I will say I don't think Jose Caballero is necessarily even that much better at short. You,
Well,
you
I
know,
think Volpe had a lot of pedigree coming out, and he's kind of, I don't know, it just hasn't connected, which happens with a lot of guys like Jordan Walker. I mean, you see it all the time. Joe Adele finally figured it out last year, but now you're paying a premium price for him.
yeah,
Um,
and Volpe's been a 2020 guy. He's already produced.
yeah, he's
Like
got some pop for sure.
he's done good. Like
He did
last
do,
year
yeah.
was a struggle,
But
but
I mean, he almost hit 20. He was almost 2020. He was 1918
yeah,
last season.
I think he's a good pick. So I think
Yeah,
it's
I
a
probably
good
need to
call
think
out.
about that more
Mm-hmm.
than I have been because I have not done that
Same,
personally.
same. Let me go to the exposures here. Players, Volpe. Yeah, I've not drafted him, but I do think that he's someone that probably should, especially if I have some Judge or some Yankees teams, could maybe look at the end.
I remember I got on this exposure thing and I was looking at the top builds you do, and I'm mostly 776 and then 767. And I
Mm-hmm.
saw that I had a 488, and I was like, this thing must be high because there's no way I drafted a 488. And then I forgot that I fell asleep during one of my dinger drafts and I
Oh
didn't have my
man.
positional limit set. So I do have a 488 out
So
there.
you've got a 488. So that's throwing
Yeah.
off your percentages.
Yeah. I was like, God dang it.
Oh
So
man, it's funny.
don't draft at midnight when you're never stay up past midnight and you're on vacation. It's not a great idea.
Tell me, you said 776, and then what was the next one you said? What was
Seven
your
six
second?
seven. Seven
Seven
six
six
seven.
seven. Okay. Now, what
Those are the
about
two.
677? Do you ever do that?
I don't have a single one yet. I have a 686. I basically have almost all 776 or 767, and then one of some other stuff. I have two 866s, which I may be doing here because I don't think I've drafted very many pitchers yet. And maybe I'll just do something a little different for me. But I haven't really decided because the other infielder I want is probably not the best guy to do a 866 with. So probably
Well,
will end up doing 776.
Well, so pretty much every build for you is 7 pitchers minimum. Now, that's a very interesting strategy thing because I will tell you that's kind of where I'm at, although I'm still not 100% of that. I will occasionally do the 6, 7, 7s. But in the past, I used to actually think that 6, 7, 7s were the better way to build. But I've changed my mind on that because of being in the playoff advance weeks and needing those pitchers and that always being on my mind because I've been in there now for multiple years where I've lived through those playoff weeks and I look at my rosters and I'm like, gosh dang it, I wish I had more pitchers because I'll have uh, 2 guys that are on the IL, 1 guy's that's in a downswing, and 3 people that are really good, but only 3, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get 7 pitchers, and I've been opening myself up to 8 as well. I've done so out of my contests right now. I have 4 of them that are 866, and I have 5 of them that are 875. Now, I don't know that I like the 875, but I've done it a few more than the 866. It's those teams have had 5 really good outfielders, and I guess I'm just sort of counting on them staying healthy, and then if they don't, it don't work. But overall, 776 is my number one build, and it's by far, it's not even close. So 40, I have 40 of my 68 that are that
Okay.
way.
So yeah, you're overexposed that way. It's I don't know. It like you said, I've done it for a long time. I think I've had some great 6, 7, 7s go, and it's not like I'm opposed to it. I think it's all about the health. I mean, you can get the 6 healthy ones, you're good. Um, but the 2 start weeks, it's. I mean, I think Dark Sheep said it or Matt said it the other day. It's all kind of luck. I mean, at the end of the day,
It
it
is.
really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know, it all comes down to 3 weeks of luck that you can't deal with. You can try to plan for it, but there can be weather events, there can be whatever there is, and it all gets messed up. And so I think just go with whatever strategy, tell yourself a story, and go with it. But I think you're definitely if you're playing a lot of entries, I think the safest thing is to do at least 7 pitchers.
Yep. Well, I'm really glad to hear that you are right there with me on that because this year, whenever I came into the season, like I said, it was a change for me, and I've not put a lot of my time and energy and thought into Underdog until this year. Even though I've drafted a lot in the last few years, it's kind of been for me just a fun thing. I've just had fun with Underdog, and I've not really dug into major strategy. Even last year, whenever I did 100 entries, I still was doing well over 100 best ball tens, and they have two completely different scoring. And best ball tens is the scoring that all of my research I've done. So this year, what I'm going to do, I like to track stats every week and per position, see where guys are at, look at weekly scores. And I've done that for years now for different scoring. Now I'm going to try it this year with this scoring and see how it makes me think of players and during the year for drafting next season. But the main thing is that, yeah, 7 pitchers is what I'm telling myself I need to have, no matter what else.
I can understand that for sure. Hey, I didn't pay attention in these drafts, but with the news, I don't think I've drafted. Where is Ben Rodriguez or Ben Rice going, and then Jason Dominguez going? I see he's still left here. How far are they dropping?
Well, so like I said, I just drafted last night, and Dominguez fell far. I hadn't done any today until this one now. But what are we at? We're at pick coming to 175. Dominguez still on the board, and I noticed earlier I didn't see where Rice went in our draft. Let's go take a look.
He went at
But I
87. I just went and looked. Yeah.
87. But I was going to say I did notice that he was there a little bit later than normal. Um, so what do you think about the Goldschmidt news and how it can affect these guys?
I don't know. I mean, my cocky attitude just wants to say if you were worried about Goldschmidt, you shouldn't have been drafting Ben Rice. But um, then I think Matt posted his numbers for versus lefties, and I was like, okay, well maybe I shouldn't just throw it, act like he doesn't exist. Um, Still frustrates me though that I even have to worry about uh, Paul Goldschmidt at 38 years old.
I know,
So
I know, I know. And the thing is, I
um,
love Goldschmidt. I do. I love Goldschmidt, but like he's been one of my all-time favorite players. I love the Cardinals, but my gosh, I was just like, to me, it was deflating. Like, not even from a Ben Rice or Jason, just like, man, of all the places he could have gone, he went back to the Yankees again. Like,
yeah,
come on. Um, but I was before Arizona signed Carlos Santana. That's what I was holding out for. I was like, man, Arizona's the perfect place for him to finish his career. Go back where it began, but 'twas not to be. Um, I was not drafting Dominguez. I have 0 Dominguez shares. I was already off of him, so it doesn't affect me with Dominguez. And I like Rice, and honestly, it doesn't change my Rice a ton. I do think you have to cut his at bats, so obviously that's going to hurt him some. But I mean, between injuries, I mean, my gosh, we see year after year where the Yankees are just constantly have guys that are hurt. So, like you telling me between first catcher, DH, that they're not going to have a way to get Ben Rice's bat in versus righties, and then he could just sit versus the occasional lefties, which may even be better for him anyway. Like, I don't know. I don't. To me, I'm not docking Ben Rice a ton from this, although I do think he deserves to be docked some.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm trying to. For some reason, I can't find him on this board. I just need to search his name to see how much I have. I know I had a lot in the bullpen for sure. I think I drafted him a little bit less than the Dinger because he's moved up so much. But Dominguez on the other side, like, I don't know. I think he went right before me, and I kind of I don't see why he's not draftable, especially if he drops to like 200. I think he ends up back in the majors. I mean, like you said, injuries, and really, he was already on this team last year. What has changed? Like, why isn't he going to be on the team? I guess is there a new outfielder that I'm missing? But
Well, well, I don't know that it's not that he's not going to be on the team, but why I was off him already is it just kind of already felt that man, Jason Dominguez is I don't want to call him a bust. It's way too early. He can't declare something like that.
he's
But just
22,
from
I think, right?
yeah, he's super 23. He's
Yeah,
super
he's
young.
Jordan Walker
Um
age.
I mean, what I would really love to just have happen is for him just to get a fresh start with a new team and just go somewhere else. And, but because the Yankees, they just don't want to commit to him, just period. Um, I think it was the Bellinger news, by the way. It was when they re signed Bellinger that kind of already knocked Jason Dominguez. Um,
Well, they posted a blurb though that he could start in the minors. That's what's causing him to drop 40 spots right now.
oh, I see. I see.
That's what's
Yeah.
causing it. And I think he's perfectly viable if you get him at, 200. I mean,
There,
I don't see why not.
there's a spot where he could work. I think for me, it's one of those things like you were saying earlier where I would probably only want to do it if it was a Yankees thing. You know, if I was doing a Yankee stack and Dominguez fell really late, then maybe I throw him on that team. But I don't know that I would necessarily do it myself otherwise because I already wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
Denver Dog earlier said he's a 6P build stand. There are dozens of us. Dozens. I like that. And Saints to Death says, sounds like someone needs to go to Driveline. You know what? Maybe he does need to go to Driveline. That's a great call out, Saints to Death.
I mean, I'm not gonna. Did you get to see who I posted that went to Driveline today?
I did Logan O'Hoppy, the shirtless video. I saw it. I saw
That
it.
had me laughing. I was like, oh wow, we're gonna be shirtless, and we're also gonna, I just anytime I see Driveline, I'm like, ooh, Driveline. It's just
I
a
can't
game for me.
I can't help but to think some stupid video like that, it does change something in my mind because like I was in this DC that I'm doing. I took Dylan Dingler, and whenever I took him, the two other catchers I was looking at was O'Hoppy and Austin Wells, and I took Dingler, and now I'm like, man, I should have taken O'Hoppy. Next time I'm gonna take Ohapi.
Yeah, I mean, and this year I posted on this one day, but the catcher class this year is kind of insane.
It is.
There's a
This is
lot of. I don't know if I'm just drunk and stupid, but there's a lot of catchers that I want.
no, no, you are not. It is. Whenever I first went through and made rankings for the season back in October, oh my gosh, that was my first number one takeaway was this is the deepest catcher has ever been. There has never been this many good catchers. And it goes legit 20 deep of good catchers. Yeah, we've never had that. And then TK11 says, I think a similar report came out last winter about Johan Rojas with no shirt. Didn't work.
Well, I'm glad I didn't see that one.
Me too.
Because I would have been in on it, I'm sure. Because
I'll tell you this. I don't think Johan Rojas looked the same as Logan Ohop did.
yeah,
But I don't know. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I just was dying laughing when I saw that this morning. So
Oh,
I got it now. I'm searching through my outfielders of my typical thing when I get five at the end, and I got to pick which terrible outfielder I want to draft, and I don't know who I want. So I start a bunch of names.
I would say you don't have to say who they are. I really want to know the names, but we still got to get to.
Oh, I don't
want them
care.
to get wrong,
I don't care. I got like 8 of them starred. Let's see. I
Okay.
have Wallner, which is kind of simple. Soler, which is simple. I have Owen, whatever, Cassie, however you say it, from Miami, just because I have a Miami guy. I have Josh Lowe because I just think he's a pretty good hitter. Gavin Sheets, and then I've kind of been wanting to draft Jesus Sanchez from Houston. So just looking at some power numbers and stuff, and a full year in the stadium, a pretty decent lineup. And then I started Cam Zone to possibly stack, but I've already done that a couple times. So I have no idea where I'm going to go. I have a hard time drafting somebody like Cassie as a 6th outfielder. I don't know. I guess somebody already took Jordan Walker because I was like, maybe I'll store him too.
Too bad. You snooze, you lose.
Yeah. So I don't know who I'm going to take, but I'll figure it out when we get there.
All of those are good options. I like all those options. And I looked this up because I didn't know how to say it either. I looked it up on Baseball Reference. It's Casey. So it's Owen.
Okay, Casey.
Yep. So because I had no idea. I was like, Casey. So one name to throw in that mix whenever you mentioned Jesus Sanchez, because this is also what I was looking at earlier, thinking,
I know.
Should I throw in Jesus Sanchez? There's one other with Houston. It's Cam Smith. Yeah,
I've taken him a pretty good amount. I actually have like 15%. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's a good amount. So you like him decent amount then?
Yeah.
See,
I do.
I'm just coming around to should I click him? You're already doing it. You're ahead.
I'm at 10%. I haven't done a lot, so that's like three times. But he's a guy I've been taking. They're just guys I guess I kind of do look at, like, I don't know. Cam Smith, I'm like more of a stack piece maybe. Sanchez, who I haven't taken, I'm thinking maybe he could be a one-off because he could maybe hit 20 home runs, but he typically averages around 15. I don't know what to do. They're probably both stat guys, honestly.
Well, whichever route you go, you're going to be in a good position because they're all guys that could hit on any given week, and you never know if it's going to be the week that matters. So these are the times where you kind of just roll with it and hope for the best, I think, with these people down here.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe I'll just do this one. Everybody will think I'm crazy, but I guess I'll go with this and then we'll talk about it. A name I didn't mention. And I'll explain. It's, probably not the greatest pick, but also, injury stuff happens. The team he's on is fantastic. If he's playing, he's probably batting 5 to 7, maybe. But Tyler O'Neill.
Okay.
He's somebody that, he's been one of those guys that, if he stays healthy, a big if, has been very, can have pop-offs. And then I'm going to pick my guy who showed off today and hit it traveling. So
nice.
I can't help myself.
Double big muscle men there at the end.
Yeah.
There's
As
plenty
John
of videos
Warner,
out there, plenty of videos with
yeah,
Tyler O'Neill with a shirt off if you want to go
yeah.
Google
As John Warner would say, beefy baseball boys, I guess,
him.
is what we went with. That's what I'll call that team name, beefy baseball boys.
Oh, that's great. The Beefy Boys. So I I'll tell you, Tyler O'Neill he's not been on, but he's not been on my radar, but that's just because Tyler O'Neill drives me crazy. He drove me crazy already whenever he was a Cardinal for all those years. And so like even now, still like I can't stand owning him because he's always hurt.
Oh yeah,
but with that said, he's gonna get you a homer on opening day. That's like 99.9% sure. So he'll factor in your first week's lineup. He'll be great for the first week. And then if it doesn't work out, at least you got out of your second to last pick an awesome score to start the year out.
that I
And you
could,
know it. It's guaranteed.
screenshot and be like, first home run of the year goes
Exactly.
to me,
Exactly.
the
Look,
only guy
first
who was dumb enough to draft him.
I'm in first place from that draft we did on stream.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I trust me, I understand the Tyler O'Neill thing, but we're what, one season removed from him actually staying healthy all year and having a pretty big season in Boston, and
yeah,
he's in a great lineup, and any injury ups his playing, and he's still maybe even playing. We don't know.
right.
I mean, we really don't know. I know they have Taylor Ward for sure, Cowser, Cowser, Beavers, O'Neill, and I'm not sure who else is in the outfield there, but I mean, he's going to get playing time if he's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah, he's going to work in for sure. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be one of those bats that they work in. And like I said, he will for sure be playing on opening day. I promise you that much right now. But he is someone that it's a good pick. It really is because he could work, he could mash and have big weeks. We've seen him when what was it? It's been a while now, like 22, I think it was, but he was a top 15 outfielder. So we've seen him, and there's that famous saying, once you show a skill, you own it. Well, that's great unless you're hurt all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, not last year, but the year before was the year he had the big year, and he was healthy that year when he was with Boston. It was, yeah, he scored 1,000 points.
Yeah, and it
2024
wasn't
was
that
his big
long
year,
ago. Yeah.
so just a year removed.
Denver Dog says they did trade for Blaze Alexander. That is something that they did just do. That's right.
Who did that?
Baltimore.
Is he? I thought he was a shortstop. Is he not? Am I
Well,
stupid in thinking that?
so he can play. He can do anything. He's kind of like a
Okay.
play anything guy. He literally could play outfield, but he can play short, second, third.
Well, with a
I
name like
so
Blaze, I would guess he could do anything. So
yeah, exactly. His parents set him up for success. So Michael says, "Thanks for the content, guys. Drafted 12th with you. Oh, nice, Michael. Nice at 12." And then Paul says, "Is O'Neill the best week one piece for the Eliminator? 100%. Opening
yeah,
day,
he'll get
bet
you through week one.
bet it for sure." So before we look at our teams we just drafted, Brad, are you good to stay around and do another one, or did you need to call it after this one?
No, I can. I'm gonna have to pour more wine, but I can do it.
All right. Well, no problem. As long as you got
So
plenty there.
yeah, I got lots of bottles, so we're good.
All right, good deal. Well, do you want to look at our teams or jump in and then look at our teams while we're waiting?
Start the team reviews if you want, and then I'm gonna grab a glass of wine, and I'll be back in just a
Oh,
second.
okay. Sounds good. You got it. All right. So, guys, let's go ahead and look at some of our teams. So, we'll start off with Maz Skills at pick 3. He went with a 7-7-6 build. So, you went double Logans there, Webb and Gilbert, Strider, Bradish, Woodruff. Got some coming back from injury potential here for big seasons with all these guys. Bradish is the one that I'm most bullish on. Bubba Chandler, I love. Garrett Cole, again, hope for a playoff play. I like that pitching staff. Lindor, Jazz, Glaber, Tovar, Berger, Josh Smith, Josh Young. Oh boy, we got a Texas build going. And it was with Wyatt Langford and Brandon Nimmo. So that is very interesting.
Fun fact: that's my number one stacked team.
Texas is
I know, which is terrible because I hate that field, but I can't stop drafting Wyatt Langford and stacking on Jake Berger and all those other guys. So
So I'm looking now. They are one of mine. If I looks like they're my fourth highest stacked team. So I'm right there. I like stacking them too. I like
Well,
taking
it's
them as
Wyatt,
well.
and then I like Seager. I know a lot of people don't, but you can get me on a guy that has high upside that loves to get hurt, named Corey Seager, Michael Trout, sometimes Buxton. I just love those plays because I love to be in misery.
Is
So,
is Ohapi the one you were talking about
oh
with
yeah,
that cheat
yes,
mace? Okay, okay.
yeah. Oh, I
That's
was it
what I
was it
thought.
was 100% guaranteed I was drafting Oapi on this draft.
It just
Like
it just hit me what you were talking about earlier with him. How he may be the only one to snipe you after the Trout pick. So
it was in my brain from when I woke up this morning and saw that tweet. I was like, well, I know what I'm doing tonight.
oh,
So
that's great. So he also went with the Rockies thing: Doyle, Mickey Moniak, and Tovar. Now I know that you're good with this. This is something that you kind of mentioned before. Totally good with stacking a bad team late, right? Like because those are guys that are pretty much almost guaranteed every day at bats.
yeah, I think all those guys are fine. I don't, you know, I I'm trying to. I mean, looks like I have drafted every single team. If this thing shows you every team, I don't know. I've
Yeah.
stacked every single team. So however
Yep.
this MLB team things work, I have a lot of guys. So I wonder
Well,
if pitchers are included in this because I
this
draft a ton of Texas pitchers.
So this, from what I'm looking at here, this is not showing you your stacks when you click on the MLB teams. This is so you can just hover over and it shows you how much money you've invested in these teams.
Oh,
So
okay,
that's what this is, money invested in the team.
okay.
So yeah, anywai.
I moved it to batters now, and Texas is not my number one. That makes me feel better. They're my number one for pitchers.
There you go. And honestly, that's the way it should be. As I go to my Texas guys, yeah, DeGrom, Eovaldi, Jack Leiter, Mackenzie Gore, all four. Yep,
Yeah,
I draft all of them.
and I
I've
do too.
I've not taken. I'm one of the guys that doesn't take Seager a lot, but it's very much like O'Neill, where I've just been burned by his injuries so many times.
You can't
So
hurt me. So
I get it. I get it. Some people I pick and choose. Okay, I pick and choose who I decide to count that against and who I forgive. Like I forgive Byron Buxton, I forgive Royce Lewis, but Corey Seager, oh how dare you? So I don't know. It's just how it goes. Um, so this is Dark Sheep. He went with Kurt. He got went an 8-6-6 build. Kirby at 103, so he waited, pushed pitching to 103. Kirby, Burns, Wheeler, Bybee, Jack Leiter, Sheehan, Parker Messick, and Luis Morales. So a very good push pitching. Go with 8. Mix in some like the potential young guy of Chase Burns, the comeback play of Zach Wheeler, which could be great or terrible, either way. I think Jack Leiter is a breakout pick this
me too.
year.
I love Jack
Um,
Leiter.
Emmett Sheehan, Luis
I don't
Morales.
know Parker Missick enough. I mean, I keep seeing him getting picked, and I don't
he
know enough
he's
about him.
a he's a he's kind of one of these unique lefty guys that kind of has one of those weirder lefty throws in there which can kind of throw people off. I was into watching him last year, but I haven't dug into him a lot. I've drafted him like 2 times maybe because he's like good enough that was on my radar. And but yeah, I'm not super one way or in the other on him. Vlad Jr., Freddie Freeman, Bregman, William Contreras, Connor Griffin. Sheep went with Connor Griffin on this one. Isaac Paredes, who I just saw is subject to trade rumor. And if it means he plays every day, I'm good with it. But I really wanted Isaac Paredes to have a full year in Houston because man, he's just built for that park. The way he pulls the ball down the
That or
line.
Boston.
Boston would also be great. I
Yeah.
would love if he played there. Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow Armstrong, O'Neill Cruz, Jerks and Profar, Dalen Lyle, and Gavin Sheets. A very high upside, risky outfield, but one that if it crushes, it could crush big. So I like this team. Good team sheet. All right. After that, we've got I was inverted. We got a couple more people we'll look at, and then we'll get entered into this next draft. I was inverted also went with an 8-6-6 build. Snell, Lopez, Robbie Ray, Zach Gallen. I wonder when he's going to sign. It's about time that piece falls off the board.
Yeah, I agree.
Nola, Cade Horton, Braxton Ashcraft, and Quinn Priester, all guys we've talked about being good picks at the end. I'm really like all of those pitchers there. It's a good mix, led by Snell. But whenever you again another draft 8 pitchers, wait till after pick 100 to get your first. Then we've got Ellie, Matt Olson, Bryce Harper, Eugenio. Whew, that's big already right there. And I immediately see a Cincinnati thing with Ellie, Eugenio, Sal Stewart. We got a Caleb Durbin sighting. I was inverted. He grabbed him some Durbin with this team. And then Julio, our boy, Larry Butler, Michael Harris, Joe Adell, TJ Friedel, and Garrett Mitchell. Garrett Mitchell, that's the first
Oh
time I think
wow,
I've seen his name.
that's the
And
first time anybody's ever drafted him except for Woo Woo.
is it? And I was going to say for me, he's not someone I would take. Although I get the sneakiness of exactly what we were talking about earlier. Because Garrett Mitchell, I don't think he's going to be healthy and produce, but I have thought that in the past. So
Mm-hmm.
I could see where he's this sneaky guy that literally no one's looking at. That what if? So that's a pretty interesting what if pick that I definitely did not have Garrett Mitchell on my radar, but I do not hate it. Now we are on Denver Dog, who went with a 6.67. He said he's a 6 pitcher stand. Hunter Brown, Cole Reagans, Nick Pavetta, Trey Savage, Michael King, Carlos Rodon. Obviously, if these 6 pitchers work, you don't need any more. But if this is exactly what I was talking about, where if Rodon has a setback, God forbid, boy, I hope that doesn't happen. But if Rodon has a setback and then misses potentially extended periods of time, if you Savage doesn't work, then all of a sudden now you've only got 4 pitchers in the playoffs. And what if Cole Reagans is hurt? What if Nick Pavetta isn't what we saw? Michael King was hurt. This is exactly why 6 pitchers is a gamble, because it 100% these 6 pitchers could crush and it could be great and you don't need anyone else, or you can pick holes. But of course, I mean, it's not like whenever I'm saying 7, like that's huge difference, but I think it's enough difference for me to just give you that one more, like just in case your Savage doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
he's just telling himself a story that he does.
but yeah, and I'm
That's
and I'm fine with that. Honestly, I am. I'm good with just believing it. That's why I mean I've done it. I will do the 6.77s. Um, Gunnar Henderson, Corey Seager. There's that Seager play. Ben Rice. So, like you said, at 87, which was a 14 pick ADP fall. Westberg, Akamoto, Addison Barger, Alec Burleson with Tatis, Merrill, Taylor Ward, Colton Cowser. There's Jason Dominguez. So he grabbed both of those falls. Then Jordan Walker and Evan Carter. So, yeah, man. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to snap up some of these ADP falls and some of these guys we're talking about. I'm a big on Alec Burleson too. I like that. So I see like we got some stacks and we got some pairs. That's how Denver Dog likes to do it. Stacks and pairs.
Don't forget to do number 12. I think he just
Yep.
joined it.
Yep. Scratch 5. Let's scratch that itch. He went with a 7.76. And I see Brian Wu, Schwellenbach, Castillo, Glasnow, Emai, McClanahan, and Musgrove. Very, very interesting, but injury risk riddled pitching staff. This is with Wu, Schwellenbach, Glasnow, McClanahan, and Musgrove all being injury risk. I don't know that I would draft them all together. With that said, I draft every single one of these guys. I love every one of these picks individually. I'm a big fan. All together, it looks really risky, but boy, again, if this works, that could work big. So I like what you did there. Bo Bichette, Holiday, Jeremy Pena, JJ Weatherholt reaching up at 181 with his ADP of 230, just saying, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and believe in Weatherholt. He's playing every day. I think he's going to play every day after the Donovan trade.
He's
At
got
least I'm
Adley and Basalo too.
And
together.
so we've got a Baltimore and well, there's two Cardinals. Maybe
Yeah.
he was looking at going with Jordan Walker and got sniped by old Denver dogs. But we got Brent Rooker, Jordan, Saya, Soderstrom, Altuve, and Heliot Ramos taking all of his outfielders before pick 84. So this is very heavy on the outfield to start, and I love it. I love it. This is a really good team. I could see it working. I could see it not working, just like all of our teams, but I like the stack pieces you did. It's unique. So, really good team, Scratch 5. All right. And then let's close out looking at our squads. Brad, you went with a 7-7-6. You want to do a rundown of your team?
You can, if I mean, you can do it. I can do it. Whatever you want. It's up
You,
to you.
you, you go ahead. Tell us what was going through
All
your
right.
head.
Let me see. I gotta pull it up. Hang on. I'm been messing around.
No, no
Okay.
problem.
So let's see. I got Sonny Gray. Went with a seven pitcher build. Sonny Gray is kind of my anchor. I got Nathan Eovaldi, Shota Magna, hoping he can kind of come back to his first year. I love Chris Bubik and his upside potential. I just feel like he could be a guy that really outplays his ADP and maybe ends up in top 120 next year, if not higher. Um, on my infielders, started off with my Jose Ramirez and grabbed Rafael Devers in the outfield as my first two picks, and then I kind of just followed it up with some boring bats. I mean, Camaro's good, but I got Zach Nato and Yandy Diaz. I really, really, really like Kyle Manzardo. I think he's like Michael Bush, but just on a different team, and I think he's going to play against lefties this year. Um, also, I'm I've been sold kind of, I think, listening to things on Marcus Simeon and the fact that he's going to be perfectly fine in this better lineup, probably. And his second half last year was pretty much on par with what he's done. So it was just a bad start. And then for my outfield, I got Rafael Devers. There's no stacking here. Rondio Rosarina, Mike Trout, Luis Robert, Jacob Marseille, considering that the Discord with stacking dingers, that's all they talk about is that dude. I finally have started taking about him. And I finished it off with Tyler Biceps O'Neill, who's never heard of a leg day. So got some muscles on this team.
You sure do. You sure do. No, I love it. By the way, I absolutely love the Manzardo call out. I also am huge on Manzardo, probably maybe to my own detriment.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not as bad as I thought. I just went, so I'm at 16%. I thought I was much higher. I'm 40% on Kazuma Akamoto. That's where I
Oh,
need to do.
wow.
I need to shift some of my Akamoto shares to Manzardo, but I stacked the Blue Jays a lot. I really like drafting the Blue Jays, so that's kind of where that happens. But yeah, man, I really like, and I'm big on Simeon. I know I draft Simeon a good amount. Where is Marcus Simeon? He is there. He is 18.5%. Yeah, almost 20%. Because I agree. I think that once he got traded to the Mets, I was like, oh man, Marcus Simeon in that Mets lineup, I think will be, and his ADP really did not rise. You know
No,
what
I
I
was
mean? Like he
surprised.
stayed down low. So
I was
I think he's a
surprised.
great buy. He's a great buy.
And him and
And
Kyle
then
Seager apparently hated each other, which I didn't know that. But
yeah, right. I didn't know that either. But apparently that was a thing. That's what I heard too. And apparently Lindor hated Jeff McNeil. So they
oh,
just
really?
sort of, yep, they just sort of swapped out people
Ooh.
that they hated.
I've
So,
drafted Jeff McNeil 3 times. I feel like that's embarrassing to admit.
well, hey, have you thrown in a rise? Because
I don't think I have. I prefer to get. Yeah, I don't think I have. Not yet.
McNeil actually is not as good a hitter as a rise, but has more power.
Yeah.
So if you just want to, some more pop weeks and that, yeah, I could see that. And then we'll close out with my team here. But before we do, why don't we go ahead and get jumped into the next draft? That way,
Do we know
people
what
don't
it's
have to
at?
keep waiting. Yeah, I'll check and see unless you want to.
I can check.
I'll
5 more. You can join.
all right,
4 more. 3 more.
all right. Let's do it, boys. Okay, so my team, I went with the 776, the normal standard build, like we were talking. I pushed pitcher to 78 and 91 and started Hunter Green and Max Fried. I like that. I don't take very much Hunter Green or Max Fried, but those are two pitchers that I want to get more shares of. Now, the next guys I do draft a lot. Nolan McLean is one of my highest drafted pitchers. Cam Schlittler, I've been trying to get more, but I like taking McLean and Schlittler together, and I like that double young New York pitching thing. Ranger Suarez, I like the steadiness of his arm. And then we've got Edward Cabrera. I think he's a breakout pitcher this year. Brady Singer, boring, but I like him for a boring pick. And then, by the way, I got pick 2. Maz got pick 3. Brad, you got 4. I was inverted, got 6. TK11 got 9. Scratch 5 got 11. And then Joe D with 12. All right. Awesome, guys. This is going to be a fun draft. I hopefully am going to get a judge team this time. We'll see. We'll see if BWA at 1 gives me judge and takes Shohei. But if he takes judge, I'll take another Shohei. Let's add him to the mix. My hitters were Nick Kurtz, Manny Machado, Shea Langoliers, Wilson Contreras, Matt McLean, Max Muncy, Brendan Donovan. Other than the teammate pairing of Kurtz and Langoliers, really no stacking. Schwarber, Jaron Duran, Ian Happ, Brian Reynolds, Adolis, who I don't draft very often at all. I got a judge team. Woo! And Jordan Beck. I'm pretty happy with this team of mine. I think it's a good, solid team. I like the mixture of power guys with solidity and the role on their individual teams. So yeah, I think that went really good. That was a good draft. Okay, we are going. Who did you go with, Brad? I missed it.
I finally got Juan Soto.
Oh my gosh, you got him at 4. Maz
Yeah,
grabbed Acuna at 3. You are welcome.
I know. I didn't have to get the number 3 pick. I can finally stay in that. So now all I need is Judge, and I'll have finally gotten everybody.
Oh man, it's coming. It's coming. Judge is coming. I'm telling you. But I'm glad you got Soto because man, Soto, that can't feel good having no Soto. Whew.
We also, I know Jasta is from the Discord as well.
Who is? I'm sorry. What?
Jasta,
Oh,
Jasta.
Jasta. Oh, all right. Nice. Nice. Awesome. Jasta, I don't know if you're watching right now, but glad to have you in this draft with us. So I see. So TDK says, y'all rolling deep in these rooms tonight. We are. Mazkills just had 3 and took Soto, so went different. So you just lucked out because he just had 3. So there you go, my friend. Joe Chris said almost missed this plane death road to Canada. well, Joe, buddy, I'm glad you're in with us, but please be careful. And then earlier TDK said Jeff McNeil gonna like West Sacramento. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Jeff McNeil going to that. He could be he's done 20 homers before. He could be back to a sneaky 20 homer guy, and I wouldn't be shocked.
All he has to do is go to Driveline, and I'll be taking him at like 150.
That's it. And then the 4-watt Philly stack, Schwarber, Harper, Turner, and Adolis could be bang bang. Jasta is in here. I'm lurking, Spencer. Just listen to your baseball knowledge. Well, glad to have you in here, buddy. So now I've missed what's happened in this draft. Let's go back and take a look at it. So we have went with the turn, and at turn, Joe D went Jose and Kurtz, Scratch 5 Jordan and Ellie, TK11 Tatis and Devers, and now we're back to Jasta, who has Kyle Tucker. Let's see what he mixes with him. All right, well, that was a good first draft. I think that we all had some pretty good teams there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Now, since you haven't had Soto before, does your mind immediately go to, because this is my first Soto, Am I going to stack the Mets? Did that crop in your mind already while we're sitting here?
Uh, a little bit,
I said
but
crop, I meant creep in your mind, but
yeah, I'm gonna see if I can push it, and maybe he'll come back to me. See what happens.
just push it real good.
I think that means maybe you won't let him come back to me, but we'll
No,
see.
I will give you I will let you try because I have forced the Lindor many times.
Oh,
Um,
I force it a little bit, but honestly, like in the bunt, I used to wait on it, and it would come back to me pretty often, honestly.
I'm going to go with Judge Alonso, the two guys who busted out together as rookies and both hit back to back years, not together, back to back years of breaking the rookie home run record there. And
Well, you took my other stack option, so
no, I
regardless,
didn't. No, I didn't. Remember
well, I took
Alonso?
Henderson. I took
Oh, you're
Henderson.
right. You're right. I
I
did.
know you ruined it.
You're right. I did.
So
My
when this guy
bad.
autos Lindor, I'll blame you. Oh,
My
he didn't.
bad.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think about that. I wasn't looking at the gunner pick. My mind immediately was moving on.
I feel like Maz should be nice to me and just let it come back to me. I just think that's
Hey,
what we should do.
let's see. He might be. Let's find out. We'll see what's stirring around there in his heart. So so this is my normal pick. Is something that I know you never do. Like you said, you never take pitcher early. I normally would take Garrett Crochet here. Um, I want to mix it up a little and go with because we were talking about Texas stacks. I wouldn't mind to maybe try to mix something in here, and I like me some Wyatt Langford, so I'm going to grab Wyatt Langford.
Well, great. You took my other favorite pick.
There we go. There it is. It
See, it always
happened.
works.
See, Maz, he was there for you. He even said it. I'm going Olsen.
That's
That's
why you don't
great.
push it, Spencer. You just wait, see if it comes to you.
Hey, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. And there is definitely something to be said about that. I don't know how many times I've been on the phone with Duggar and me and him are talking and I'm like, should I take this for the stack? And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna push it. Let's see if it falls. Make it fall to work. And then whenever it actually falls, man, you feel so much better about yourself too, don't you? You're
Oh
like
yes.
like just with that, like you're just so ready to make that click once the guy fell past the round that you were going to take him.
I know I can't. I just can't wait to find who I'm going to run it with. You know which injured player I'm going to draft. That is it Tyler O'Neill? Who knows?
It might be. You might go back to back O'Neills.
I could because I got a Henderson on this one.
Why don't you mix in Harrison Bader on this team? O'Neill's former buddy who also always likes to get hurt.
Oh God. I mean, Harrison Bader is going like I don't know. I'm surprised by that. He has some power, plays good defense, will be on the field. Um,
But in
he's
San Fran, it's not the best landing
yeah,
spot for that
he's like
power.
Brenton Doyle light. I feel like
Ooh, that's a good comparison. He is Brenton Doyle light. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, I like that. Bader, I whenever I think of Tyler O'Neill, I just always associate Bader and O'Neill in my mind together, which is just why I said that. Like the two of them will forever be grouped together because of my Cardinals fandom. So, and they pretty much came and left at the same time frame. Man, being a Cardinals fan is rough, by the way, let me tell you. Do you have a favorite team?
sorry about that. What were you asking,
Oh,
Spencer?
I said, do you have a favorite team?
Yeah. I mean, I live in Houston, so I root for the Astros. But I'm not like a. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, yeah. It's honestly that's how I am with the Cardinals. Like I don't live and die by wins and losses. I did whenever I was young. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah.
Whenever I mean, I'm 42 now, so whenever gosh, 20 plus years ago, oh man, 2006 World Series versus the Mets or the NLCS to go to the World Series, that NLCS versus the Mets, the stress level, I remember my stress level being so high with every inning in that series. And after the Cardinals won in '06 and then they won again in 11, from that point on, I've been like smooth sailing guy, like, hey, it's fine. They can win, they can lose, no big deal. I'm just looking at fantasy here. And that's how I am with football too. Are you a football drafter?
No, I am not. I
No,
do not even. I couldn't even tell you. Probably, I can't. I know I can't tell you the running backs on the teams right now. They're in the Super Bowl.
I was about
Like,
to ask, are you going to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow? Or do you have a
I'm
Super
going
Bowl
to a
party or
party. Yeah, I'm going to a party that somebody's smiling at me about because they didn't decided not to go, and I'm going on my own, which I'm kind of pissed off about. But yes, I'm going to a party, and I'll go watch it till halftime, and then I'll probably leave. But hell, I mean, I just found out what was it a few days ago that Sam Darnold's a quarterback for the Seahawks or something. I don't even remember.
Well, he sure is. He sure is. Um, let me just tell you because I'll let you make your pick here. I want to see who you go with. What's rattling around in that old brain of Brad's? Christian Yelich. Love it. I'm a Yelich guy. I'm not afraid to click his name. I don't do it all the time, but
I
I'm
haven't
not
drafted
afraid
him in the
to.
Dinger, is why I went there.
Yeah, just not afraid to. So, oh, by the way, Joe Chris says bet the Seattle under. Little hint for you there. So here's a little fun fact that I was going to let you know about that man named Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has a famous grandpa. Okay, Sam Darnold's. I went with Manny Machado again, and then I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can do the push the stack thing that we just talked about, and this guy at pick one's going to let this work for me. But Sam Darnold's grandpa, Brad, was the Marlboro Man, the original Marlboro Man, and that guy's name was Dick Hammer.
I love that name.
That was his name, and was Sam. That is well, he's dead now, but that was Sam Darnold's grandpa. So very interesting. I heard that the other day on something, and I'm like, that is one piece of trivia that will now live forever in my brain rent free.
That's
and
yeah.
and the stack piece fell to me.
There you
Brandon
go.
Nimmo, come on down.
I don't know what is happening, but y'all are just letting guys I like fall to me.
Hey, Ian Happ, the boring pick from last draft that I took.
Yeah, and I got him almost 10 picks past ADP.
So, well, it's because we were all talking crap about how boring he was last draft. Now no
See,
one
that's
wants
what I
him.
do. I just talk about. I'm gonna start talking about all the people I like, and you know,
That's it.
just talk bad about them, and apparently people listen. So
Well, Buxton is my guy here that I would have taken. I'm asking you this. Do you draft Buxton? Are you a Buxton boy?
I've always been a Buxton guy, and then I thought I would be a Buxton guy, and I'm not. It's not that I'm not a Buxton guy, but I don't really draft him. So I guess in a way I'm not, but it's not like I don't know what it is. I think it's not what people say with, oh, he finally was fully healthy and there's no way that will happen again. I think it's more of just I don't really want to draft anybody from Minnesota besides pitchers. Like it's hard for me to even take um, Keishel or
Keishel. Mm-hmm.
Wallner. I mean, I get it, and I have, and I understand, especially Wallner. I understand the pick, but I just don't want to be overexposed to that honestly shitty ass lineup. So I'd rather pick Rockies, which makes no sense, but yeah,
Well,
give me the Rockies.
they got a better park. They got a better
Yeah,
park to hit in. Pitchers should be worse against them theoretically. Although I don't know, maybe not. I don't know, but dude, I hear you. The Twins are gross to stack. I can't tell you how many times that I have Buxton teams, and then I look and I'm like, well, I guess I can throw Keishel on this team.
yeah.
you know, um, but I just love Buxton, and I kind of hope he gets traded.
He gets what? Oh, traded.
Traded. I hope
I
so
just feel
because
like if they were going to trade him, wouldn't they have done it last
they
year?
probably. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
look up what his contract is real quick. I was thinking in my mind he was going to be a free agent next year. No, he's not a free agent until 2029. So honestly, I don't think he's going to get traded. Looking at that,
Yeah, he may get moved next
um,
year, but I don't know if he'll get moved before
maybe,
that.
but I bet they don't trade him this year. With all that said, I just love Buxton, and it's very much like the Trout, which I know. I want to hear your Trout percent. Let's hear your Trout percent so far, because I know
Oh
you're a
God.
Trout guy. I'm a Trout guy.
Well, I'm only a Trout guy because my arch nemesis talks about him nonstop, and I'm afraid that if he does well, I'll be left behind. So right now I have 21% Langford. I mean, not Langford. Sorry, I was
Trout.
looking at the wrong guy.
You were thinking of Blakeford.
Yeah. Okay, I only have 16% Trout,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
nothing terrible.
That's actually a much better conservative percent than what I have, which is 26% right now. So 1 out of 4 drafts, I'm clicking Mike Trout.
I
That's
gotta
too
go back.
much. Honestly, it is. I mean, there's one thing I like to not live in fear of injuries, but there's also a point of being stupid with it. Of like,
Yeah.
do I've seen Trout just not be able to hold up for year after year now. But by the way, Matt Skill says Buxton has a full no trade clause. So yeah, he ain't going anywhere. Who would want to stay in Minnesota though? Baldelli is finally gone though. That guy was the worst. Joe said that. Yeah, Rocco Baldelli though. No, I would say top 10 in all-time best baseball names though. So that's one thing that he gets a lot of credit for, is having an amazing name. He was always hurt as a player too. Rocco couldn't stay healthy to save his life. What to do here? Do I go with I think I'm probably going to go with the guy you were telling me is your number one guy who fell to me here, and go with Larry Butler.
He's not even my number one guy. I just kept drafting him because he kept falling, I think,
It's
is what
just where
happened.
this is a good fall. I didn't
No,
look
it
to see.
is. And I love the athletic, so it makes sense why I draft him.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I talked to Jason on the side, and he's like, "Oh, going to draft a platoon guy," and then I get scared and quit drafting him. So Jason makes me do stupid things. I blame him.
I'm going to message him. I'd love to have Jason on here and do one of these with us one night too. That'd be a lot of fun. I'd like to talk through it with him.
Yeah, I mean that's one option. He's had some terrible takes, but uh, good luck with that.
It'll be fun either way.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
So let me look here and see. I don't have a pitcher. This is right around the time that I like to dip in if I pushed pitcher. But today, how about we push it a little more? How about it?
Don't do it.
Nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm
No,
going to go ahead and I'm going to grab Cole Reagans. I don't take Cole Reagans often.
I
Let me
love
go.
Cole Reagans.
His upside, I need to take him more. Whenever I was talking about it in that last review, Reagans stood out in my mind. I know I don't have him much. Let's find where Cole Reagans is on this list. 6.2%. Yeah, I need to have more. All right, you're up right now. About to say, who'd you go with? Santander.
I love Santander. I don't know why. I mean, the dude hit how many home runs the year before?
Well, 42 or something like that, I
Yeah.
want to say. Before he signed the big deal with Toronto.
Yeah.
So
33, 28, 44, and then all of a sudden,
44.
he's drafted next to Stephen Kwan.
Yeah. Saying it like that too.
I mean, I like me some Santander, and maybe I'm, crazy for doing that, but I'm a big guy of, have you done it in the past? And if you have, why are we not drafting you?
Yeah. Well,
Marcus
Santander,
Semien,
Marcus
Santander.
Simeon. Yep. Year after year, when we do these drafts, how many times is it where the best pick is just look at the guy who's at his lowest point that he's ever been?
Oh, all the time.
And those two guys in particular, I mean, without pulling up any data, it's guaranteed. You'd have to go back to Marcus Semien back when he was with the White Sox 10 plus years ago before he would have been drafted this low. And Santander, you'd had to go back before all those years you just said he'd been drafted higher than this. So, and there is something to, I've seen it enough happen year after year. There is something to guys that sign big long-term deals like him, where they struggle in their first year, either from underproduction or injury. It just tends to happen
Yeah.
more often than not. And why can't, of course, he's going to bounce back this year. It's just a matter of to what degree. And
Yeah.
everything makes sense that that degree should at least be 30 home runs based off of who he is. So I think that Santander is a great pick. I probably, talking this out probably makes me realize I need to draft more too. Now I'm going to go look 3% in the dinger. Yeah,
Simeon is a guy that, sorry to interrupt you, but he's a
no, you're
guy
good.
that, when you're talking about the two guys, you're talking about two different things, in my opinion, too. You're talking about Sam Tanner, young, or not, I don't know his age. I'm going to say it's under 30. I have a feeling. Um, but signed a big contract, and yes, got hurt, back problems, which I don't love to see. But played in Baltimore, not necessarily a huge hitter's park. Also changed the fences when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Still did well. And then you're talking about Marcus Simeon, who then you got to start looking at age a little bit. And with Simeon, the main thing that stuck out to me was his first half was god awful, and his second half was really pretty normal. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when you see that, you can have a little bit more confidence that he can come out. And when you learn about the turmoil, maybe in the locker room, that could also have done it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's got 1, maybe 2 years left. Because baseball players can be good into their 36, 37. It doesn't require, center field, sure, it's hard to play, but shortstop may be hard to play. But first, third, second, I don't think are
Second.
as bad on you.
Mm-hmm. No, I
So
agree. And that's a great point about the age. Um, Jasta, by the way, said same goes with Trout. Yeah, Trout is at his lowest point ever.
he is his is his and Buxton's go to the same thing. It's a lot of health, and Trout, scarily enough, I don't even think he was injured last year. I think he just kind of sucked. I
Well,
mean,
he did suck.
yeah, which is a little bit scary, but I still think he has it. So I don't know. Give me a full season of Trout. I'm in for it.
I'm in for it too. I'm complete. I'm bought in. I'm there. So one of my
Yeah.
things with Buxton that I will say is it's the opposite of what we were just talking about, where Buxton is now going
Hi.
much higher than he has for the last 5 years. So it's like the opposite where, yeah, maybe I shouldn't take Buxton or the guys like that, like Springer. Springer's another one who we talked about, who is now that much more of an advanced, higher price than what they've been. So with that said, though, I mean, I still draft Springer and Buxton a lot, but they're two veterans. But there's 100% something to be said to drafting guys when you see them easily mispriced based off of their history and not what they did just last year. The pick I'm about to make here, this is also one I want to get your thoughts on, but I know you're going to be picking right after me. So let me make the pick. It's Jack Caglione. Let you get your pick in, and then I want to get your thoughts on Jack Caglione and what you're doing with him this year, because he's a fascinating guy for me this year. But before that, I see you went with Joe Ryan last. Joe Ryan, great first pitcher. Just from a dependability standpoint, like Joe Ryan, I think is locked and loaded. Bryce Terang, so a pair piece in with your Yelich.
Yeah, I honestly, I haven't grabbed any terrain, and some of his numbers from last year are like, why am I not grabbing them? Just some of his underlying stuff I've seen pop up. Like I said, I just read random things and they stick in my head for a day or two.
Yep,
So he's one of those
TK11.
guys.
He just posted another guy we were talking about, Adolis. That's
I
another
think
one.
he's great. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
on him.
I just took him in that last draft, and I don't take him a ton, but yeah, he's going at his lowest value for sure.
And he's
Uh,
somebody I think you can draft alone. I mean, I don't think he
yeah,
has to be a part of a
just
stack. I think
no, I
he's
agree.
fine, and I think that, well, hell, he's coming from Texas, and like I said, I have a lot of Texas pitchers for a big time reason, and that's because that park,
Mm-hmm.
maybe one of the best pitchers parks, which says I shouldn't draft Langford, but he has big biceps, so it doesn't
he,
matter.
he does, and he's young, and he's prime for a breakout.
Yeah, it looks
So
like, I think that's I was inverted. I think he figured out what I'm trying to do. So I maybe have some things coming up later for my Milwaukee is why I was drafting them.
he says setting up the Durbin Mitchell stack with Terang.
Durbin was
So
definitely in my mind, and I have been thinking about Mitchell. So kind of just because I thought I'd take a screenshot and send it to Jason and be like, I did it before you
yeah.
type thing.
So I did want to bring this up with Bryce Terang because I think it's an interesting point for this period when we're drafting right now this week. Um, the World Baseball Classic just announced all their rosters the other day. Did you go through and look at that of who's going to be in the WBC? Um, well, with Bryce or any WBC guys, how much is this going to affect our draft market while these games are going on here in the next what's it going to be 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks from now when these games start? I think it could vastly affect one way or another. Well, maybe not down. We might not see people dip down so much, but we can absolutely see some people rise up by a couple rounds if they have some hot WBCs. Just because all of us drafters, I know people are going to be like me. I'm sure like you. When you see something, it's just like when you listen to a podcast, right? When if you're sitting there drafting and you watch a guy crush a homer, and then you look down, you can pick him. A lot of
Yeah.
times you're going to want to do that. So, like, I could see Murakami being one that could just shoot up. Maybe Akamoto, but we'll see about some of these, American guys that people already know well. Dark Sheep said, get a little Jet Williams in there.
That's a great point because, and I have not thought about that actually at all. Um, but particularly on the guys we haven't seen in the majors, I could see some big time boost for those guys if they say hit a home run off of hell. I don't even remember who's on the roster, but Joe Ryan. I can't remember if he's on it, but
I'm pretty sure he is.
and then there's the second thought to it, where I thought you were going with it was I've had pop up on stuff I've read is that the guys who play in the World Baseball Classic typically have very off years. Um, from and now there was a good point that I read into it that's like the guys who are picked are coming off of massive years, so in theory they're going to fall off a little bit. Um, But, is it that or is it that playing the extra baseball hurts? I don't know. I mean, am I thinking too much? Do I need to worry about that with the pitchers? That's just more innings on their arm. Should that hesitate us towards those pitchers at least? Is it worth
You
talking about? I don't know.
it's worth the thought. I absolutely agree that it is worth the thought. And I hadn't read any articles or anything about that to see if anyone's done any research, but like you were just saying, if there's research to show that it does affect people, I personally, I think for me, I would want to go a couple more WBCs before I really kind of say like form an opinion on this is how this is. You know what I mean? We're still, even though we're a decade in, right? We're still
I thought we were 2 decades
fairly
in now. I thought it started in like '03 or something.
well, time flies. Maybe it was '06 or something. It wasn't been '03. Let me go look it up real quick. But my point is I just don't know. I don't worry about that, I guess. I guess maybe I should, but I just don't. When did the WBC start? '06 maybe? That's the year that's popping in my mind. Yeah, '06. Yeah. I have in this closet over here. I've got a David Ortiz Team Dominican shirt from back in that day.
Is Dr. Dave that dude that I hate? I hope it's not. That does all
Um,
the
I
football
don't.
injuries.
I was gonna say
Is
I
like
don't know.
annoying.
But apparently he posted something about it the other day. He didn't seem to share any of his research he was using to say that pitchers had a higher injury chance.
Gotcha.
Um,
There's a
but
that guy's Jesse something, Jesse Morse. That guy's
gotcha.
weird. Sorry,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
No, you're hey, don't bother me. I don't know who it is. So but but yeah, no, I don't personally really worry about the now here's the one thing I will say that I could get behind. It's not the extra innings. I'm like, they're gonna be pitching at this time of the year anyway. maybe the extra stress. So like someone like, God forbid, Skeens or Scooble, but like if they have, the extra pressure that they put on themselves to perform so well. But also, I don't think that DeRosa is going to keep them going super deep into the games. Like, there's enough good pitchers that,
I guess that's true. Yeah.
4 innings. But there's something to be said about high stress innings, because that definitely is more effective to pitchers' arms than just innings in general. So that's for sure.
Yeah, I think if anything, I mean, and like you said, there's probably not enough data, and it's something that I just read that was clickbait or something. But I do think there could be some interest in that in the pitching side of things. I think hitting wise, it's do they get injured? If they do, that sucks. Because who was it like tore their ACL last year or whatever,
Um,
celebrating Edwin
Oh,
Diaz maybe?
Edwin. It was
Yeah.
Edwin. Which the thing is that can happen. Weird celebration injuries can
Hmm.
happen anytime. Like, um, do you remember who Kendrys Morales is? Do you know who that is? Have you
No,
been
I remember football player kicker doing it after a celebration, but I can't remember who that is now.
Kendrys Morales tore his ACL on a game-winning home run where when he came to home plate, he jumped on home plate and slipped and tore his ACL.
Jesus.
And so that was brutal, and so it can happen. Jose Altuve got a couple years ago got hit in the hand and missed the
I
first
remember
like
that. Yeah, that
two
was the last
months.
WBC. Yeah.
So there's that. So like that can happen, but honestly, guys can get hit in spring training too. They're going to be out there. I mean, it's just baseball injury. Weird things can happen. So I just don't. I'm not stressed about it being in the WBC or not. I love the WBC. I can't believe that I did say it's
I'm
been like
going to it
10
this
years.
year.
Are you really?
Yeah, I live in Houston. There's games here, and a friend of mine has tickets. They were texting
Oh,
me 2 nights ago about it,
oh,
and so I
bro.
think we're gonna go to. I think I'm going to 2 games. I don't know. I don't even know how many are
Oh,
here.
I am jealous. Are you going to post some pictures on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll post pictures, but I'll take some. But I can certainly post them. I'll probably put them in a
If
Discord or
if you
something.
don't post them, at least yeah, shoot me a picture or something because oh, dude, that's awesome. I am super jealous. I'll be sitting here watching the game. So whatever game you're at, I'll probably be watching it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about that.
So I've not even been talking about our teams or our builds as
Uh,
we've been going. But right here, right now, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Let's go with Sandy Alcantara for this first one. I have not been taking Brandon Woodruff, but I've been trying to work him into my process of like he's got enough upside to do it. What do you think? Should I add a Brandon Woodruff share or should I go ahead and just take an infielder that I normally would take?
I mean, Brandon Woodruff, he's somebody I don't take all the time. I should probably take more because if he stays healthy, he can. But I gotta look at your team.
I have 4 pitchers. It would be my fifth. Well,
I don't think you
dang it.
need to take him, but
Dang it. The two
the guy you
infielders,
wanted.
both of them, I was looking literally at Story and Mooney, and they both went. You know what? I was actually just thinking how I have not been drafting Hunter Goodman. I'm doing Hunter Goodman.
There
Let's
you
do
go.
it. And then that opens
Maybe,
up some potential Rockies pieces later because there's several later ones that I'm not
and
afraid to
I'll take
take.
Woodruff in your honor. So I'll
All
just say,
right.
you know
All
what?
right.
I got the hitter, so I might as well tack on the pitcher.
I was just looking at the comments Joe said earlier. I remember I drafted Alexis and Edwin Diaz with the plan to name the team Double Diaz, and Edwin blew out his knee celebrating. That's not so good. And then TK11 says Supa might end up with a 4.88 this time. Let's see. Yeah,
Well, hey
he's
guys,
got a
he
3.81 build right now. So.
he may have fallen asleep like I did that one night. Probably what somebody was saying on stream while I did that.
Oh man. Let me tell you what I did one night. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe I did this. Um, but this was a few years ago. I want to say it was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, whenever Zack Snyder's Justice League came out on HBO Max. I I love that movie, absolutely love it. But the night that it came out and was released, I started watching it whenever I was at work. And I came home and kept watching the movie. And it's a 4 hour long movie, okay? Have you ever seen it, by the way? Have you ever seen Zack
What's it?
Snyder's Justice League?
No.
No, it's so good. It's only on HBO Max.
Okay.
But that night I was watching that and I watched the whole 4 hour long movie. And then I got done. And after the movie, it hit me. I had registered for a fast draft DC that night. That's a
Oh.
$150 draft. And I completely forgot about it. And I got in, and it was in like round 47 out of 50. I'm like, no. Oh, I was so mad at myself.
Yeah, after I
Blew
woke up,
$150.
after I woke up to that 488, I did finally set my like 767, or like I set it, everything's maxed at 7. But that also comes back to bite me because a couple times I've tried to like do 8 pitchers
Oh no.
and I don't
It won't let
click
you.
them. And I don't know why. It's like I almost always click my players, but for every reason, when I decide I'm going to go 8, it's like the last pick, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to back out. And then I go in, I'm like, God damn it. Again, I ended up with a 767. So I'm not great at paying enough attention. I have a The later it goes in the night, the worse it is for me because typically if I'm up till like 11 or midnight, I'm drinking and I don't need to be drafting. Otherwise, I'm asleep at like 10, 9 o'clock.
That wine
So,
is a flowing. What you drinking there? What kind of wine? What kind of wine you buying?
oh, I don't even want to admit what this line is because I recently bought a house and I have no money. So I I have subjected myself to buying Kirkland wine, which is Costco's brand. And
Oh, okay.
it's like a name brand. I mean, it's $7 a bottle, which is embarrassing. Um, and
How
I'm
does it
sure it's,
taste?
you know, by glass two, it tastes perfectly fine.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
um,
Does it work? Does it do the trick? Do you feel it?
I enjoy it. I have a lot worse headaches from less drinking than I did with my normal. Like I used to drink a thing called McNabb. It was probably 18 or 20 bucks a bottle, but and I still buy some of it. I buy it by the case. I try not to drink it as often, just because I don't need to be going through $20 bottles of wine. So $7 bottle. If I drink, 2 or 3 in a weekend, whatever. Who cares?
Because you just bought a house. Well, congratulations on buying a new house, by the
Yeah,
way. That's
thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
You have any kids?
I do not. Yeah, just me. So, I got, my partner passed away last May in an
Oh, I'm
accident.
very, very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no worries. And his son lives with me right now.
Okay.
So, kind of, I guess I have a child, but, it's a complicated child. Not like he's complicated. I just mean the story of it.
Yeah, no,
So,
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, I'm glad that you got this house. So you said you're in Houston. You see, I just drafted a Houston rookie in Tetsuya Imai. What are you doing with Imai? Are you drafting him?
I think I've clicked him once in like 300 drafts or however many I've done. So no, I'm not. I don't get in on this whole. Uh, I don't know if I can. This is, but I never really draft the Asian pitchers like big. I feel like they come in with this huge um, expectation, or people think they're going to be big, and Imai actually doesn't seem to have it. So maybe I should be drafting him. Um, but
He does feel
I
very
just
under
don't
the
know.
radar, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't know much about him. And like I said, I guess you could call me a Houston fan, but I'm more of just a baseball fan. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't really like, I mean, I'll root for Houston, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about this dude. I don't know anything about him. Like, I think he's pitching in the WBC. I think I saw
Mm-hmm.
that. And if he
I'm pre-
is, I mean, I'll probably see him in that. So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure. This is what I do whenever there are big imports every year. So as soon as I'm starting my off-season prep, which in October or November, this is what's my to my either to my detriment or maybe it serves me well sometimes, but I go to YouTube and I just YouTube search these guys and I watch video after video of them until I feel like I know who they are. And a lot of times, it may be just videos of people talking about them. Sometimes it's actually watching them play. Sometimes, you know what I mean? But like Imai, this is what everything that I have been seeing and hearing is that I think he's going to be the perfect under the radar, like this is maybe not the best. First name that popped in my mind was like Zach Gallen type comparison, whereas like he's gonna just be out there pitching in line for a win almost every start. Maybe not have a ton of case, maybe not have the lowest ERA in the world, but just be a good solid pitcher. And we'll see though, because I definitely have been wrong in the past by getting too overhyped from watching YouTube hype videos on Asian players. Like I was all aboard the Yoshi Tetsugo train a few years ago, and I was drafting Tetsugo everywhere, and that one did not work out for me. So
I mean, so I will say, I think my huge, big hesitancy, I mean, and it took me a while to get on Murakami and Okamoto, and I've just started drafting them because all y'all talk about them, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to be left behind, so I'll get my shares. And I love a shitty White Sox stack, so I might as well grab
right,
that.
right,
But
of course.
on the side note, what Josta just posted is kind of, I guess I don't fully even, my worry at the moment is, I could see a Sasaki type situation, and I could see him ending up a reliever. And it's because I go and I'm looking at their names right now. They have Hunter Brown, they have Amai, they have Arrighetti, Burrows, who I think can actually be a solid, honestly, starter.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Javier, who we forget was like a almost Valdez type
Really. Oh,
pitcher.
the hype he had going
Um,
into 23. Holy cow, he was
yeah,
the hot name.
I won't mention. I mean, Lance McCullers, I don't really put in there, but um, they have some names there, and so they have, I think it's like Blanco, maybe. I'm probably missing people. Jason Alexander did okay last
Oh,
year. I know
Brad,
he's
your
not.
pick.
Yeah, hang on just a second. Let's see. I have no idea what I'm doing, so maybe I'll take the guy you like. Did Akamoto already get taken? Yeah, I think he did.
Yep.
So, um, but yeah, I just don't know. I know they're still looking for pitchers, so I wouldn't be surprised if they deal Paredes. And I know they want Abreu, but I don't think they're going to get him. So what if they deal Paredes to Pittsburgh and they get Keller? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't shock me because they seem to want pitching. So I kind of expect them to pick up another arm, and I think with the rotation that Pittsburgh has, I wouldn't be shocked to see Keller Paredes type move if they can't get somebody from the outfield like Abreu. Because I know I've heard they don't want Duran, or at least that's what I read, and sounds like Boston doesn't want to give up Abreu either. So
If I was them, I wouldn't trade either of those guys. I really like both Wilyer Abreu and Duran. But yeah, well, so I think it's very interesting what you're talking about with the Houston rotation because they are loaded with pitchers. Now, I guess my biggest question out of all of those names that you listed, though, and that's not even all of them, right? There's still more. Like there's this
yeah, I
Ryan
couldn't
Weiss
think of who it
kid.
was. Yeah,
I know at least there's this Ryan Weiss guy, and I feel like there's maybe even one more, but there's a lot of potential options. There is the point. Tang, did you say Tang?
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't mention him. I don't know who
So
that
yeah,
is.
see, that's just one other pitcher name who's like potentially in line for starts. With all that said, in my mind, the way I've been thinking about Tetsuya Imai is that he's the locked and loaded guy after Hunter Brown that's not going to be affected. And it's the rest of these guys, maybe even Javier himself, although I think Javier is probably next right after that won't be affected. And then from Burrows down, that could be affected by the impact of other people. We'll see. Here's the other thing with 6-man rotations and Jasta. It's a great call out because 6 rotations are scary, 6-mans. But with that said, most every team that wants to do a 6-man
Can't do
rotation,
it.
it doesn't last, right? They will do it for a while, and then either from just underproduction of pitchers or injuries or whatever the case may be, 6-man pitching staffs just don't tend to last. The one that I thought maybe might stick this year maybe the Dodgers, because
Dodgers always stick.
if they, because it's like if they stay healthy, because they've got three Japanese pitchers, all three that like to be on six man and are used to six man, and then Blake Snell, who
Well,
knows, and they might,
they don't even have to stay healthy. They have like 11 starting pitchers.
and that's it, because they've got all these other guys that can come
Yeah.
up.
Oh
River
yes,
Ryan,
they have tons of them.
yes, there's so many names we could go through. But the Dodgers are the only one that I actually think might be able to do it. Any other team, including now the Astros, I was just saying they've got a ton of names too, so they might. It could happen, but I'm just not drafting, worrying about that, especially in reference to Emai or Hunter Brown.
Yeah.
I'll draft Hunter Brown all day, all day. I like Hunter
So
Brown
you
a
like
lot.
Hunter Brown?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I've kind of I don't know. I just my pitcher I take first almost all the time, which is somebody you don't draft, and I think I just like to be disappointed is Cole Reagans because I love injuries, so why not?
Well, I just
But
took him on this team, so
yeah,
I'm
I just he's the first pitcher I typically take almost all the time, and it's probably I mean I don't even think I've drafted any of the people before him in the new year yet, any of the other pitchers, and I'm not sure that I'll have more than 4% of any of those guys.
mm-hmm.
Like I don't. I mean Christopher Sanchez. I don't know if I'll even grab him. I just I don't see the point. He's a weird pick to me where he goes. Um, I don't. I mean, I get it, but also he doesn't even seem to be that hyped up. But he's like the fifth pitcher off the board.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He's a weird one. He's a weird one this year. He is. I mean, you could kind of lump Hunter Brown right there with him, like you said. You know,
Mhm.
you can think of them together, but and both of those are examples of kind of the thing we were saying earlier. That's probably good to stay away from, right? Someone who's coming off of a year where their draft value is now at an all-time high, and it's made a drastic jump up because both Christopher Sanchez and Hunter Brown last year were what, like your between your probably your 7th to 10th round picks. You know, they
I
were
think
the guys
Sa-
who
I think Sanchez was like. I mean, I know he got. I don't even know if he got steamed. I want to say he was like 18th.
he may have been even later in my, and I'm thinking more towards the end of the season. Plus, I draft so
Yeah,
much on an FBC that it kind of skews my memory sometimes.
I think Sanchez was late. Honestly, I think he may have been like Bubich, like who I see probably jumping into like the 160s by the time this is done, just because he's got some talent there that I think is going to get noticed. He reminds me of Sanchez a lot last year.
Mm-hmm. Bubik, Bubik's one that I have been back and forth on through draft season, Brad. So I was super in on Bubik right out of the gates because I had big FOMO last year of not drafting him and regretting that I didn't own him because I was on, like, he was on my radar and then I didn't do it, and then he was amazing and I'm like, why didn't I do it? I was thinking about it. Why didn't I click his name? So I came out this year in draft season and started clicking his name a lot. I've really backed off because I'm more worried about both risk of re-injury and then the park dimension changes in Kansas City theoretically hurting their pitchers. So those two things have kind of brought me back down a little, but I'm right there with you in the fact of I do believe that Chris Bubik could be a monster late pick here if he's healthy. He could crush.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Sorry, I got to make a pick, and I had
That's all
something in
right.
my head, and it all went away. So I don't know who I wanted to draft here. Oh, he must have gotten taken. No, there he is. I decided to go 866 this time. Um, um, yeah, I mean, I agree with the Royals thing that has taken me hesitancy. So two things you brought me back to an earlier subject that I'll come back to, but on like for Reagan's, for me, it's like you got to be able to hit them. And so, do dimensions even matter if you can't hit them? I mean, that's where I look at Reagan's.
Yeah,
Bubik,
Reagan's. I'm not worried about with Reagan's because yeah, he's
yeah,
just on another level of good. It's just
yeah,
staying on the field.
yeah. And then Bubik, I think I mean, from what I don't watch them all. I just have heard. I think he's got some sort of underlying skills that seem like he could take a step up. I guess is what I would say. Um, you know, and I don't know how much you focus on it, but like you were talking about, and I was big on Edward Cabrera in the bunt when he was like in the 200s. I think he may have been my highest owned pitcher. Um, but as he's jumped up, like I just can't help but notice. And let me go back to it. And maybe this is stupid stuff to look at, but Cabrera, um, yes, he moved parks. He's pitched the last 4 years in the majors, and his highest quality start rank was 7. And I want a guy who can go 6 innings. I mean, I just think it's important in this format.
Mhm,
Um, and Bubik did 11 last year.
mhm.
And so I don't know. Maybe that's something I shouldn't be looking at, but it's something
And
that
did
jumps in my brain.
how many games started did Bubik have too? Probably only like 15 to
I think he
18.
only had like, yeah, he didn't have very many. And
Mhm.
like Cabrera had a bunch, and he got to 7, which was
So
his most.
yeah. So here's the one thing I will tell you about Edward Cabrera. With that being the case,
It's
you are
control.
absolutely right. I was going to say your thinking is 100% right. Okay, like I like that way your mindset is there with worrying about that with him. But with this said, why I am so big on Cabrera is he has been on my this is a simple thing, okay, that anyone can do, and it's like lazy man's analysis. I get it. But if you simply go to Baseball Savant, okay, and you click on like the year by year, and every single year I'm making spreadsheets and looking at this stuff. And anyway, Edward Cabrera's stuff always pops off the chart with one drastic thing that he sucks at, and that's control.
Yeah.
His control is terrible, but it shot up last year. He got drastically better,
Yeah.
drastically better. And then this year with going to the Cubs, this is where my mind and my bet for Edward Cabrera is that he takes that one extra leap forward, right? So he does better than what we've ever seen before, and that's why the reason to pick him.
So maybe he
Because
was
I think,
Jesus Luzardo, basically.
yeah, yeah, like I think that he's a breakout pitcher pick that like
Yeah.
he could return. There's only a few guys. Bubik is one too, right? If he does stay healthy all year, there's very few guys that can return, top 15 level pitching seasons. And at least I think Edward Cabrera has that in the cards if he continues to keep that improved control and stays healthy, being
Yeah.
the big final piece of that.
And you were talking about, just to go back to it before we finish up this draft, I know it, and it's we you brought it up, and I don't think we ever talked on it, or I drink too much wine, one or the other. Um, but you were talking about, I think maybe you took him, Cags or Caglione, and just
Oh
kind of
yeah,
him in general.
I was going to ask you your thoughts on
And
him.
you were going to ask, and so he's a guy that I need to be sold on, I think, because I remember talking to him with Matt Sheep in the Discord with Josta and all those guys. I think Denver Dogs in there, a handful of these guys.
Hmm.
Um, but it was like Marseille. Like they finally have talked about that guy so much. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just draft him.
They broke you.
Yeah, but Caglione, and I don't know if that's how you say it. You can tell
Yeah,
me afterward.
yeah, tag down. That's how you say it.
But I just don't, I don't know. Everything I look at, like and I don't have all the resources you do. I don't say that I even know as much as you do about baseball, but the stuff I've looked at, like at least in the majors, he just did not connect on the ball, and his price is insane compared to a lot of the other guys that are we just don't know enough about. I just don't understand why he's going in the top 100 now. And I understand. I guess he has immense power, but what is really the difference between him and some of these other rookies in the outfield? And I don't know. Is Owen Cassie, are they way different pedigrees? I just don't know much about these guys, and I'm
Sure.
hesitant to touch them.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, that's a great answer. Honestly, I love the truthfulness of that answer, Brad, because if you really don't know or don't feel confident about someone like that, yeah, he's going in the 90s. You got to
mhm.
take him now in the top 100. So yeah, I would say if I didn't, I would stay away.
He
At
doesn't seem to
least
have the
primarily.
pedigree that like Wyatt Langford did,
So
like coming
so
up.
here's what I will tell you with that. He kind of does. Okay.
Okay, see,
So
maybe I just didn't
so
know that.
he was so just in 2024, okay? He was just drafted as like the 4th or 5th player in 2024.
Okay.
So he comes up, he goes from being drafted to then, and he was a top NCAA player, and he was a two-way player, and he crushed in like destroyed college, destroyed.
Okay.
Like hit well over 400. He had a thing where I
Where'd he
remember,
play?
God, I, I can't remember now, but he crushed. I know
I'll
he
look
had
it up.
like there was a big thing where he had like it was like 9 straight games with a home run in college, and I remember that being a big thing. So, but the main thing with Caglione is his power is not just good, okay, and it's not just great. It's like potentially the best in baseball type of power.
Oh
That's
wow.
that's what we're talking about. If he can hit his like actually make enough contact. This is the problem is that when he came up last year,
He
because
didn't
he
make
went so
contact.
basically
Yeah.
basically think this though, he was just drafted, crushed NCAA, drafted, then the very next year he goes through the minors all the way to the majors, gets to the majors within 1 year of being drafted,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then gets destroyed. Well, Mike Trout was also terrible whenever he was first brought up as a rookie. But I know it's different, but the point is he's come so quickly, he got there so quickly, he struggled. Maybe that struggle was good. Maybe he learned from that because that's the first time that he's ever struggled.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
never struggled. So, and when I mean like the level of power that he potentially has, so if you go on Fangraphs, and you type in any player, and you can look, and they have these like prospect like gradings, and it's
Yeah.
like a blank out of blank, right? Well, that scale is out of 80. So for prospects, 80 is like having 100, right?
Yep.
And there is no one. I will tell you, go search like anyone. You won't find an 80 grade power prospect that's 80 now and 80 future. And I hope I'm not speaking out of my butt, but I think I remember. I'm just going to look it up. I'm pretty sure
I see
Caglione
him.
is.
I just searched in ChatGPT and it said he's 65 power.
So it has his power, his raw power as a 70 and 80. So
Gotcha.
70 now, 80 future. So basically what I'm saying is like he's that level of power prospect. And if he hits, I just don't want to miss out and not have some teams. Now, I'm not taking him all the time. I'm at 9.2%. So this share is going to have me right around the 10%. Now,
Gotcha.
I was taking him a lot more in the bullpen. Okay.
Okay.
Back early, and in the bullpen, he was going more like 115 to 120. It was also a lot easier to take him there.
Yeah.
But Josta says Basalo too. Yeah, Basalo is a big power prospect too as well. But anyway, this is the reason to potentially click Caglione's name, but you have to assume the risk. And this is where I like for Caglione to be like my 5th outfield, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which now
Yeah.
again it's a little harder, but so on this team that I just took him on, he's my 5th outfielder. So if I can have him as my 5th or my 6th outfielder, then at that point, I don't have to depend on him, right? It's not like I'm like, oh, I've got to have Caglione for my team to be good. If he doesn't work, he doesn't work. My team can still work. My team can still advance. But what if Caglione is bad for a while, gets sent back down, and then he comes back up in August and then absolutely destroys it down the stretch? And then I have teams that have him on there where, you know what I mean? It's like I just
So
don't
yeah.
want to not have any Caglione because that level and the fence is being brought in. That's the
Yeah.
other part of this factor.
He's a
The
lefty,
fence,
isn't he?
he's a lefty.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
He's traditionally a first baseman, but he ain't playing first for them. He's playing outfield
Yeah. Yeah. Because
or
Pasquantino.
because Vinny P and
Yeah.
or he's playing DH. He could play DH, but they've got Salvi DH and a lot, if not Carter Jensen, because if Carter Jensen's catching and Salvi's DH, and they got a whole thing to work around there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why outfield is kind of where he's fallen. But
Gotcha. And their outfield is weak. I mean, don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
their
It's
outfield
definitely
is weak.
weak.
So he
Um,
doesn't have anyone breathing down his neck to take away the job from
and
him.
And I've taken him. I just don't make it a priority, I guess.
Yeah,
I
and I,
take
and I,
him. It's just not a priority.
everything
So
that I'm saying is not to be like, oh my gosh, you have to draft Caglione all the time.
yeah,
I would say it's probably safe because of his draft price to, I don't want to say fade him, but keep him around under sub 10%
and
owned
that's
guy.
probably what I'll do. I'll probably be under market. I mean, what's market is it? Is it 8%? 8.33? Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, so I'll probably fall in somewhere between. Like I just looked at my bullpen and it was 5%.
I
So I'll
base
grab
things, yeah, I base a lot of things to me at that 10% mark on
it.
if I'm over or under 10%. That's just where my mind goes. But um
Sorry, we keep talking. I know we're done. So
no, that's okay. I mean, I actually, um, I mean, I'll do some more team reviews. I don't want to keep you on here if you want to jump off,
yeah, you're welcome to go. I'm just sitting here, so I'll listen and talk and
but yeah,
whatnot.
let's go through. We'll
I don't
save
even
our
know if anybody's still watching.
yeah, there is. There's 17 people still on here watching with us.
Oh
So if any of
Jesus!
these guys, if any of you guys were in the draft, let's go through and let's take a look at our teams. So I know we've got, I was inverted. I'll save our teams for last, Brad. He's 776. So Dylan Cease, Max Fried, Framber, New Tiger Framber, Michael King, Eovaldi, Jack Leiter, and Joey Cantillo. I got no notes. That's a really good, solid pitching staff. I like the Joey Cantillo pick at the end. All right, moving on from there. Vlad Jr., Bryce Harper, Torkelson, Manzardo, our guy, Akamoto. He's the one who grabbed Akamoto, Addison Barger, Royce Lewis. You are preaching to the Spence
Who
choir with these people right here,
who is
man.
that?
This is I Was Inverted.
Yeah, he took Manzardo. I was trying to take him. So
Yeah, I mean Manzardo, Akamoto, Barger, Royce Lewis, those are all people that I like to take. I'm not afraid to take Barger, even with the platoon risk, because he's good late fall and Barger has a ton of power. Um,
who is he platoon risk with? I don't even
um,
know what position he plays.
so he's a platoon risk simply because he's not great against lefties. So whatever
Okay,
right-handed bat they could get in.
okay, gotcha.
The Blue Jays, let me just take a quick gander. That way I will tell you for sure what his actual what it says. It says he's in a platoon with Davis Schneider.
Okay.
So and if you watch the playoffs, Davis Schneider did produce versus some lefties pretty well.
Oh, he
But
did. Okay.
also Addison Barger had a monster grand slam against Tanner
Hmm.
Scott in the World Series, who obviously is a lefty. So I mean, it's not that Barger can't still crush off lefties. He can. So I think Barger's a really good pick. And then Schwarber, Jackson Merrill, Buxton, Mike Trout, Adolis, Matt Wallner. My gosh, I was inverted. That team is just awesome. I love that
He
team.
drafts a lot like I do. I feel like whenever I see his
Me
teams.
too. Those are Spence players. I really really like it. All right, next we got Maz Skills, who went with 677. Scooble, he went with the Scooble at pick 22. Then we got Freddie Peralta, Luzardo, Rodon, our boy Edward Cabrera, who we were talking about, and Bubik. So he went Cabrera and Bubik, both of those plays on the same team. And that's with a 6 pitcher build, and Rodon being one of those 6. That would be, I guess, my only thing that I would say against that build is that with Rodon coming back from injury and then the potential for Bubik / Cabrera to not work out, maybe a 7th pitcher would have been a little more advantageous to the build. But I, again, I applaud the just committing to, hey, these 6 pitchers are either going to work or they're not. And if they are all healthy, they 100% could work, and you don't need anyone else. Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ozzy. I see Ozzy Albies. I see Acuna, Profar, Michael Harris. That is the full Atlanta stack of studs. The 6 best ones. And then we've got Yandy, Westberg, Matt McClain, Aranda, Colton Cowser, Friedel, Chandler Simpson, and JJ Bleday. So there's a nice little Cincinnati trio here with Friedel, Bleday, and McClain. And then you've got Chandler Simpson, Jonathan Aranda and Yandy as a trio for the Rays. If it was me, the only thing I would have done different is I never draft Chandler Simpson, so I would have taken Cedric Mullins as my Rays piece to that because I'd rather take Cedric Mullins 2020 is a very much in the cards. And I would just I'll take Cedric Mullins over Chandler Simpson, and I 100% could be wrong with that thought, and time will tell. Time will tell. All right, after Mad Skills, who else we got in here? Josta. Josta went with a 776. George Kirby, Sonny Gray, Savage, Luis Castillo, Trevor Rogers, Bryce Miller, and Jacob Lopez. So Kirby, Luis Castillo, and Bryce. So three of the Mariners pitchers, and then Mookie, Jazz, Bregman, Connor Griffin, Tovar, Brandon Lowe, Keishel. So right here, I'm not seeing a ton of stack pieces. Obviously, the Connor Griffin, Brandon Lowe. Let's take a look at outfield. Tucker, Jackson Churio, Pete Crow Armstrong, O'Neill Cruz, Joe Adell, Trent Grisham. There's where some stack pieces come in. I see some correlation in there. And with this said, that is a high upside outfield. Holy cow. This outfield is one that could absolutely destroy it and crush, or could be terrible, because I don't think Joe Adell will be bad, but it's still in the cards that last year was his best year. I don't really like O'Neill Cruz, even though it was an ADP fall. Pete Crow Armstrong, I'm so torn on. I've drafted in some, but I just don't know about that round, that, pick 30 price. I just don't know about it. And then Trent Grisham could 100% be a flash in the pan, or his power was legit and he'll hit 30 again. But I'm leaning away from that with Grisham. That's just my thoughts, although I'm open to being wrong. But overall, though, very, very good, solid team for Jasta with some nice stack pieces in there. But very high upside on that outfield. It could work or it could not work, but thus is the name of the game. All right, TK11 with 776 build. Christopher Sanchez, Hunter Green, Mizorowski, Robbie Ray, Bubba Chandler, Aaron Nola, Shane Smith. So here we're looking. He went with the Sanchez pick that we were talking about. He got him at 57. Hunter Green, I like a lot. Mizorowski, I'm just not drafting. I probably need to mix him in. I've talked about it. I just can't bring myself to click his name. It's the whole quality starts thing, like you were talking about, Brad, where I just don't know that Mizorowski is going to go 6 innings hardly ever. Maybe that shouldn't matter. Maybe he's good enough that it doesn't matter. He was an all-star after 5 starts. I don't know. But I liked all the rest of the pitchers. And closing it out with Nola and Shane Smith, that's 2 very good, dependable innings eaters that both have good amount of quality start and win upside. Well, win upside with Shane Smith, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I do think the White Sox will be better. Vinny P, Miguel Garcia, Matt Chapman, Wilson Contreras, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Luis Arise. Arise, chicken. So Vinny P, Mikhail, Will Smith, Max Muncy. Do we see any in the outfield? I don't see any. Well, you've got teammate pairs. So this is like a teammate pairing thing as opposed to a trio. I see a trio of nope. It's a teammate pair. So we've got a pair stack build, which I'm good with. I love the outfield. Tatis Devers, Jaron Duran. That's a sick 3. Bellinger 4. Wilyer Abreu, Gavin Sheets. Love the outfield. I've not taken Gavin Sheets yet. Have you drafted Gavin Sheets, Brad?
Yes, I have.
So maybe I need to look at adding Sheets. I was not interested in Sheets whatsoever in Chicago, but he was really good last year. And just because it's on my mind, I'm clocking this. Gavin Sheets.
Did he
All
play
right.
for Chicago? I guess I didn't even realize that.
Oh yeah, he was on the White Sox for years.
Oh, well, that
Yeah,
explains it.
last year was his first year on the Padres. Scratch 5 at pick 11 went with a 677. Logan Gilbert, Mackenzie Gore, Nolan McLean, Chase Burns, Ranger Suarez, Shane McClanahan. This is my type of pitching staff right here. It's a 6-1, and if I take Shane McClanahan, I normally want a 7.
Are you going to move your car a little bit? Sorry.
Oh, you're good. But you normally want a 7th if I take Shane. That's my only note on the pitchers. Otherwise, I love that pitching staff. Ellie, Freeman, Dansby, Sal Stewart, J.J. Weatherholt, Burleson, and Gorman. Boom. Gorman. I was wanting to talk about him. This is one that ever since the Donovan trade the other day, I've been talking about this with Duggar. We've literally said it to each other. We have to remember to draft Gorman. We have to remember to draft Gorman. And I still haven't done it. I'm making a note right now. Draft Gorman.
He's got some good hitting skills.
He has potential. Like, he now with an everyday job, I don't give a crap about what his average is. He has potential for 30 home runs. That is 100% in the cards with an everyday job. And I think that everyday job is secured now that Arenado's gone and Donovan's gone. So I keep forgetting to take Gorman because he's been so off my radar. Like, I have been so anti-Nolan Gorman for the last 2 years. But this is the year. If he does not produce this year, I'm done with him. But I'm still there. I think he can do it. I believe. And then Jordan, Seiya Suzuki, Altuve, Luis Robert, Lubob, Heliot Ramos. I will always say Heliot. It's Elliott, but Dalen Lyle, Jordan Walker. He went to Driveline. Did you know that Jordan Walker went to Driveline, Brad? Had you heard that?
I had not yet, actually.
Well,
so now that I do.
Maybe you should check Twitter.
You could just check my bio.
I know. I want to make sure you knew.
I forgot I put that in there. I did that like the day I saw that. Maybe I'll add Logan Hope in there too.
You need to because it's been there since the time I've known you.
It's been there for a while. I used to have, years ago I had Josh Lowe up there. Last year a few years ago I had Eric Fede. So I've usually hit those guys that I put in my bio. I'm hoping Jordan Walker I hit.
That's so good. Put Logan O'Hoppy in.
But every year I put somebody in, and all of them have hit technically. Fede, Lowe, and I don't remember who I did last year.
God, I hope Jordan Walker hits this year. I will. So I won't. If Jordan doesn't work, I'm not gonna say he's done for good because Jordan's only 23. I know he's so young. So I'm not going to write him off if he doesn't work this year. I'm mentally preparing myself. With that said, this has got to be the year. Come on, Jordan. It's like Jordan and Nolan. I live 2 hours away from St. Louis. So the Cardinals are where I can go to watch games. I'm 6 hours away from Kansas City. I've been to Kansas City. But those are my two closest. Well, I'm 6 hours away from Chicago as well, but I don't ever go to Chicago. And I'm like 8 hours away from Milwaukee, and I've never been up there, but I really want to go there. I'm like 5 to 6 hours away from Cincinnati, and I have been there, and I like watching games there. But that's my area of places I've seen games at. I went to Cleveland once too. Okay, back to our teams, and then we'll call it a night. All right, Brad.
All right.
866, Bill.
Yeah, I finally did an 866, and I don't really know why, but let's see why I did it.
It happened.
Let's see. I'm actually going to start a little bit different. So I started with Juan Soto and kind of ran it. I pushed it and got Lindor falling to the third. So I had a lot of falling value. My first 5 picks: Henderson, Lindor, Soto, Yelich, and Happ. And from there, I just started going. So I filled my outfield pretty early. I got the Santander, who I mentioned, I think is really going to bounce back. And I tagged along Varsho, which I have you to thank for giving me my obsession with Dalton Varsho.
You're welcome.
From the first show we did together.
There's no way it'll fail. It's guaranteed to work. You're welcome.
I think I had 0%, and now I'm like the Dalton Varsho guy. So
good.
I will blame you and technically the dinger is a little bit more money, so I will send you a invoice if I lose.
Please do
So
for your partial
um,
shares.
and then so I got my Met stack. I added on Simeon and felt like he was some falling value in a way because, like we talked about earlier, I just expect him to come back.
Mhm.
Put on Adley, who I expect to have a massive season. I know that Basalos came up a couple times here, but I don't know. I think Adley had all of those characteristics 2 years ago, and all of a sudden he went from a catcher that wasn't usually catchers didn't go above 200, that was going in like I think the top 100 to not being drafted in one of the top 3 or 4 lineups. So I expect him to bounce back. And I added on Durbin, who you talked about, and I wanted to show that I could draft him, so I did to put him on my stack. And then on my pitcher build, I just waited on pitcher a little bit, and I don't go eight a lot. I got some of my favorite pitchers though: Joe Ryan and Yuri Perez, probably two of my top 5 guys that I drafted in most drafts. You could add, I mean, I'll just say the easy one, Bradish there, but then threw in a little bit more risk with Woodruff. Got Flaherty a little bit more consistent. I was just looking at some numbers. He's still got some K upside, even though people feel like he fell off last year. Lodolo is somebody that I think, if he can quit getting blisters, maybe a breakout candidate this year. I could see him doing something like what Christopher Sanchez did outside of that park. And then Kikuchi, just some quality starts there, and Musgrove coming off an entry, and Quinn Priester, another guy that I just see a little bit of potential with a good organization that kind of knows how to develop pitchers. So not common for me to go 8-6-6, and not common for me to have Durbin as my sixth infielder. But I guess the story I'm telling myself is that Simeon and Rushman turn into top 100 picks, and my infield's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're rocking Gunnar and Lindor at the top. That's huge for this because you win at pick 21 and 28, your 2-3 swing with infield. It allowed you to do this. If you wouldn't have had the solidity of those two guys at the top, then you would have had to take another, most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like it. I will tell you, Yuri, I'm so glad to hear you say he's one of your favorite picks. He's also one of mine. I just went and looked at the board. He's one of my top pitchers, period, 27.7%. So 28%. He's right there with DeGrom and Chris Sale, who I have right at the top of my pitcher shares.
I have 40% Bradish.
Oh, do you really? That's a lot. That's a
I know.
lot for a guy coming off of injury who, yeah, that's a huge
Oh, and I have
upside, though.
40% Yuri. So, I like
Hey,
me some guys.
you sure do. Those are two good arms to like, though. It's funny, I mentioned earlier this DC that I'm currently drafting. I have both of them, Bradish and Yuri, on my DC. So there you go, Nux.
They're high upside for sure.
The only pitcher that you drafted who I just actively avoid and don't ever click his name is Yusei Kikuchi.
Okay.
That's just me. Now, I am just kind of anti Kikuchi, and I have been for a while. And it burned me 2 years ago, but then last year I stayed off him, and it was the right call. Whenever he shot back up in price, now he's back down low again, and I do think that he is a name that's worth clicking. So I'm not like talking crap about it like he can't work. He could,
No,
but
he's just
like
got a little bit
you
of quality start, some velocity that may work.
well, you took Jose Soriano in the last draft, and if I'm going to take an Angels pitcher at the end, I want it to be Jose Soriano, or if I'm
Reed
going weird,
Detmers.
Reed Detmers.
Yeah.
Or I've not done this yet, but he's on my radar of names that if I see him pitch here, whenever pitchers and catchers report, Grayson Rodriguez will be back on my
Yeah.
list of names. I've not preemptively drafted him yet because I'm still worried, but
Yeah.
Grayson could be a good pick. So out of all that, that's why, because the Angels just flat out aren't that good, and I just don't want a bunch of those Angels pitchers. And if I'm going to, I want the other ones. With all that said, though, I really like what you did with this team, and your outfield is awesome. I mean, I love your outfield. I mean, you got so now that you have this Soto team and this Soto outfield, man, check that off the list. Check that off, and this is a great one. I really like the pitching. So overall, Brad, I think you drafted a banger. I like that 866 a lot. And I closed this out tonight with a 767. The thing that I was just telling you earlier, the build that I have very, very little of. When I go to my portfolio, again, 767, I've only done twice. But yet I've done 776. Wait,
Wow.
hold on. I just switched to the dinger. Yeah, twice. Whereas I've done 776 39 times. So the fact that I've gone 776 39 times and 767 2 times,
That's
that's
wild.
wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's stupid. It's just
I
flat
think
out
that's a
stupid.
little bit overlooking on your part. Yeah.
It is. Honestly, it is. Because I'm cutting off my legs from some of these outfielders that I could be getting, and I'm too depending on the 6 outfield names that I'm drafting. So it's something I want to correct. Again, I'm not even to halfway through of my teams. So by doing this is something that I'm loving about doing this channel and talking these drafts out with you guys. And is if I'm just sitting here drafting team after team after team on my own, I'm not always thinking about this stuff. And now that I have this tool, that's the other thing. Unless I literally, which I've done in the past, I literally in the past have had notebooks where I write down all of my teams and I write down my builds and what pick number I have, and then I look at the percent of the time. But the last 2 years, I haven't been doing that, writing it down. So I've just been vibes based drafting my team for my builds. But now that I can see this tool, and I can see, man, I'm doing it too much. I got to bring it back, dial it back in. With that said, let's see how this 767 went for me. Let's see if my infield are good enough. My pitching, this is a very rare Zach Wheeler, but Reagan's, DeGrom, who I love and I take all the time, Wheeler, Sandy Alcantara, Imai, Shoto Amonica, and Cade Horton. I don't love my pitching. If Zach Wheeler comes back as a stud, this pitching, and Cole Reagan stays healthy, this pitching could be great.
Is
But
Wheeler coming off an injury, right?
yes,
Okay.
Wheeler's injury that he has right now, which it's hard, it's one of those words that's hard to pronounce, but I think it's thoracic outlet syndrome is what it's called. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, thoracic outlet syndrome. But there's different forms of that. And his is supposedly, from what I've heard, like one of the lesser scary ones where like he could be back by a month or so into the season. And then what if Zach Wheeler's just right back to the Zach Wheeler we know? He's already said he's going to retire at the end of next year anyway.
Okay.
So because that's when his contract expires, and he came out and said he was retiring at the end of his contract. I did see that, but Zach Wheeler is so scary because this injury is also one that he might come out and try to work his way back up here in spring training, and then pop, he's done. Now he's just retiring now. You know what I mean? When he's so close to retiring, it's why I've been so hesitant to draft his name. But again, as I'm approaching the halfway of my drafts, and I've only taken him once or twice, Zach Wheeler can be the third or fourth best pitcher in baseball. He has been for the last several years, maybe even second or third. Or, you could argue maybe if you go back for a 4-year period, Zach Wheeler is probably the best pitcher in baseball over the last 4 years total. So with all that said, I need to have some more Wheeler teams, but they need to be minimum 7 pitcher builds when I take him. And then, but I don't know. This is a very interesting pitching staff, though. Pete Alonso, Manny Machado, Jackson Holiday to be a little. I did that at the time as a little Orioles stack thing, although I didn't add any other Orioles, so that's just a pair and not a stack. So it is what it is. Hunter Goodman, Isaac Paredes, and Ivan Herrera. I don't know. I honestly don't think my 6 infielders are good enough. They may be, they might be. I don't feel good about it after the Alonso Machado, but at least it's very similar to like I was just saying to you with last time, although I think I felt more solid about the other 4 that you had. But with my 6 infielders, at least Pete Alonso and Manny Machado, I feel like almost every week I can count on them.
Alonso for sure.
After that,
Yeah.
We'll see. But Judge, Wyatt Langford, Brandon Nimmo, Lawrence Butler, Caglione, Jordan Beck, and Mickey Moniak. So the Beck, Moniak, and Goodman gave me that Colorado trio.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, if I could redo this, I probably would do another 7-7-6, honestly, because I think that the 6 outfielders that I have stopping at Beck probably are good enough. And that's honestly why I've done it so much is, and maybe it's just the
Yeah.
way that I draft and the way I'm building my rosters as they're unfolding through the thing of like why I'm going 7-7-6 so much. I just feel better about my outfield so much because I'm spending up and I like my guys. But I don't know. It's an interesting thing. It's very
You could have
interesting.
even honestly skipped back and gotten Moniak. I was looking at his Statcast data from last year, and it's pretty impressive. Just the
Honestly,
stuff he did last season. I
maybe
mean, I
that.
know he's former first round or first pick,
Yeah,
first overall
yeah.
pick. So
And a guy who almost was wasted.
yeah,
The Phillies almost blew it with him. And thank God he got out of there and he's brought himself to back being a good major league player. I think it
yeah.
was the Angels where he
The
kind of
Angels picked him
broke
up. They
out.
came back,
Mhm.
and then I thought maybe he'd break out. I used to draft him, and then last year I didn't because I'm an idiot,
Yeah,
and
and then it happened,
then
truly.
it happens.
Oh man. Well, that was super, super fun, Brad. I had
Yeah,
a great time. It's
me
been two
too.
and a half hours, so I know I've kept you on here a long time. But thank you to everyone who's been in this and in the chat and drafting along with us. Um, had a great convo with you. I hope we can do this again sometime. I'd love to have you
Yeah,
back on with me.
of course. I would
So,
too.
well, buddy, I'm gonna let you go. Have fun at your Super Bowl party tomorrow. Don't drink too much wine. I
I will,
was
but
gonna say no promises.
yeah, no promises. I'm just saying I will.
All
But
right, no, you're
yeah,
you're you're going to. You already know it. It's
yeah,
committed. You're at a party.
it's done. So
All right. Well, guys, hey, everyone at home, thanks a lot. Have a good time tomorrow,
cheers.
and remember, keep drafting. See you next
Yeah.
time.